Arizona men's basketball. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Yeah, Goodfellas AC.
Hi, can I get a second opinion from you guys on something?
Of course. It's what we're here for.
So, my wife's brother claimed he'd done some AC repair before.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and now there's kind of a rope and pulley situation that opens the freezer door and a fan inside turns on to cool off the house.
Huh, very creative.
Really?
No, not at all. Next time, call us first, yeah?
Yeah.
Call Goodfellas AC for free estimates and second opinions. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
Do you need your home repiped? Having trouble with your water heater? Leaking toilet? Have you ever thought about an instant recorded seweroscopy? Then call Economy Plumbing Service at 885-3510. Because if water goes through it or to it, we do it. Economy Plumbing, 885-3510.
Quick, she's over here. I don't know. I just found her like this.
Yeah, she's banged up, but she'll be fine.
Oh, thank God. What can I do?
Just need the keys. And, sir,
Yeah?
your car's gonna be fine.
Thank you.
Mobile detailing from Recon Auto Detailing. Tired of wear and tear on your vehicle or just tired of cleaning it yourself? We'll come to you. Book with us online and see why we have over 1,100 5-star reviews. Recon Auto Detailing. ReconDetail.com.
It's kickoff time, and Believe podcasts are here to get you ready for the season.
He wanted to change the culture, and he wanted me to be a part of that.
With Believe, you get immediate reactions, game previews, and expert analysis from all 32 teams, plus all of your favorite college teams.
He's just rare in just about everything he does.
Sideline to sideline, end zone to end zone.
This was good for everybody.
Just search Believe. That's BLEAV podcast, wherever you listen.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. You're listening to the home of Jim Rome, Rich Eisen, and DK on the Sports Tip. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
And a great Friday afternoon to you. Vacation is on the horizon. The final vacation, at least for us, before we get to the start of the athletic year. You know, I'm one of those people, JW and I are cut from the same cloth, and that we're pretty durable folks. We don't call out of work very much, if at all. I think I've called out of work. I've been in this business now since 1991. I think I've called out of work less than 10 times in my entire life. And you'll remember, I even worked from home with COVID last year. Just, it's easy. It's radio. I can talk. As long as I can talk, just bring me the equipment and I can do it.
I brought you the equipment.
You did. And we distanced ourselves and all was good. But I used to work with people. It drove me crazy because I'm that guy. I'm that guy that cannot stand when people call in sick. And I used to work in television. I'm not going to throw any specific people under the bus, but I worked in television with people that called in sick routinely. And you know the one that always drove me crazy was the one where you call in sick the day before you're on vacation.
Right.
Like, I don't know you're not sick, okay? You just called off so you could take an extra day.
Well, I think the same person who takes the day off of school when there's a big test is maybe the one who takes the day off of work the day after the Super Bowl.
Right.
I'm got the sniffles. I'm so sick. Can't make it in, DK.
There's nothing worse than the person who either calls in sick the day before or the day after vacation. Are you that person? You know who you are. Don't be that person. I cannot stand that person. People, there used to be this thing. I've had multiple people in my career who have said, well, we've got 8 sick days. You lose them or you use them or you lose them. I used to always hate when somebody said that to me. It made the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
Right.
Absolutely could not stand people with that mentality. It's so entitled. If you think you can just call off work whenever you want to, you are so entitled. So entitled. Don't be that person. Don't be entitled. I cannot stand people that are entitled like that. Oh, I've got 8 sick days, so I might as well figure out how to use them. There was one guy I worked with in television. It got to a point when I knew when he was going to call off. I just knew it. I said, today's the day.
You're like, fantasy baseball draft's coming up. I know Jeff's not going to be here on Tuesday.
I absolutely knew it. Certain holidays he was supposed to work, he would call off. Oh, just got underneath my skin. So don't be that. If I have one message for you, do not be that person. And my wife is funny. My wife works in HR, but she'll occasionally. She tried to get me to take the day off that Friday we were in Las Vegas.
Right.
She was like, just call in sick. Call in sick. I was like, wife, you know that's not me. You know that's not me. That's not who I am. I've never been that person. I'm not going to be that person. It just drives me up the wall.
I will say this, DK. I believe that people can change. And full disclosure, when I was in my teens and 20s, working down on campus at Frog, there were days, I might have had a few too many the night before. and again, this is like when you have a group of like 6 people all doing the exact same job.
Right.
So if one person doesn't show up, it's not going to be the end of the world, and or there's other people who can replace you. This wasn't a vital can't miss. I would say I probably missed 3 days in the 8 years I've been here at the station. I've never missed a game day, that whole thing. But in my teens and 20s, I was more... I wasn't looking for the excuse to take a day off of work ever.
Right.
But I would have more leeway with yeah, it's fine. I don't need to be there, whatever. And as I've gotten older, it's like if you sign up for a responsibility to do something and that is your responsibility. I say this to people who are in unique positions like we are, where there really isn't somebody to take over for me if I'm not here.
Right.
There's not really somebody to take over for you if you're not here. I understand if there's interchangeable parts, but I've grown in my old age to appreciate making that commitment and sticking to it. And that's basically it. It's like pride in myself, and that's where my work ethic comes from, is maybe making up for those years, DK, when I was a little younger and a little dumber and did leave some of my coworkers hanging dry.
I had maybe, I'll admit, I've had maybe 1 or 2. I had one day in college. There was one time in college when I like you said, had a few too many. And I had a morning job at the workout center. I was supposed to be there at like 6 a.m.
Were you at like song girls practice or something instead? Or was it a good excuse? Or?
It was no. It was no. And so it's like I'm opening up the joint. So if I'm not there, there's people waiting to get in to work out that can't work out. So like I roll out, and I think my alarm went off. I slept through my alarm. I wake up, it's 5:50. I'm like 15 minutes from campus. I'm like literally I throw my clothes on. I get on my bike. I'm racing out there, and literally there's 6 people waiting outside to get in when I pull up 5 minutes late.
And that's a part of it too. It's a good point, because I think for me, it comes to inconveniencing others that didn't make the choice to be inconvenienced by your actions. Like, that's what I mean about responsibility. If you're the only guy to open up the gym in the morning and you decide to, just because you feel like it, to show up at 2 hours late, anybody who's on that workout schedule to go before work now can't do that because of your choice. And I try to avoid those moments where I'm inconveniencing others who have their own plans, right? They have their own day scheduled out. So, yeah.
Then there was the one Indians home opener that got a little out of hand.
Right. Sure.
There was one of those days too. Got a little out of hand. and had to be somewhere early the next day, and that didn't happen either. So it's happened twice.
What's the drink of choice for that ballpark?
For the Indians home opener? I don't know if there's the regulars like PBR.
Yeah. I just meant does Cleveland have a signature drink? I wouldn't.
I don't know that we have a signature drink in Cleveland that I'm aware of. I know. I've told you my wife likes to do fireball shots, and that on the golf course after the fourth hole, and that originated in Cleveland. And that's kind of but I think that's just a thing in her friend circle more than anything else. I don't know if everybody in Cleveland is taking fireball shots after the fourth hole on the golf course.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know that there's a specific drink per se that we like to imbibe in Cleveland that's kind of uniquely ours. But if you're talking about beer, PBR is kind of a popular choice.
Sure.
For the regulars, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so,
and
we have some of our own breweries and stuff around town that are popular and whatnot. So yeah, that's. But don't be that person. Don't be that person that the day before vacation you call in sick. The day after vacation you call in sick. It's like when you got to be back at work, so be back at work. Don't wait to the last minute to come back and then, I got to travel and I'm sick or whatever. When you got to be back at work, so be back at work on time.
What if you're trying to get back to work and the entire airline industry across the globe goes dark?
Goes dark, which happened today.
It did.
It did. Luckily for us, we have some Microsoft systems in here, but it seemed like pretty much I had to relog back into everything this morning, but other than that, the station was on the air all night long, and I don't think anything went down here. So, knock on wood, we were okay. But yeah. And I got to fly out tonight, so hopefully my flights, the flights are all back up and running. I know some early on, some of the airports were shut down, and some of the flights were not going out. So hopefully that does not cause an issue. I literally will be off the air, and I'm out of here. My flight leaves at 8:20, so. I got to be on that flight to go see Pops.
We just had the gentleman call in, was it yesterday, about being the commander of the missile silo?
Yes, Chuck.
And, my understanding is that they use technology that doesn't connect to the internet for that very reason.
Right.
And if you think about it,
exactly.
It's so smart because now that all of our, basic necessary institutions are run over Wi-Fi, one issue at the core can really disrupt basically all the industries.
Well,
so
it's like my mom has her whole cable now is set up through Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And so it's like one nonstop issue after the other. It's like I'm still connected to the box. So, we have far less issues because she has a box, but I still think it's all still run through the Wi-Fi, whereas I think mine is still run through the actual box and the cords and the wall and that kind of thing. And so it's like every other day, it's like my cable went out. And I was like, well, first she has Cox. I said, I don't know. I don't have Cox, so I can't really help you with that. But
Does she call you David?
She does, yes.
She says, David, my smart TV is being dumb again.
Exactly. And that's the other thing. My mother has all her TVs are smart TVs.
Of course.
We do not have a single smart TV in our house. But, and that's why I say he's like, you got all these smart TVs. They don't seem real smart to me. They seem to always go out, and there's always issues with them.
All I got to say, DK,
I still like to be plugged in a little bit with my television.
All I got to say is we just got a refrigerator, a range, and a washer and dryer.
You got a smart
I cannot
range?
send an email from any of them.
Got a smart dryer?
No, I cannot send emails
thing?
or pick up, any kind of Bluetooth connections from any of them. No, I don't want that.
All right. So you got about 2 hours and 45 minutes left of us, and then we'll be out all of next week. We'll come back and get you ready for Arizona football and the start of the fall for the Wildcats on July the 29th.
Also, Olympics.
Olympics will be in full swing. Opening ceremonies will be on the 26th. I'll be at the ball. I'll be at Citizens Bank Park that night, watching the Phillies and the Guardians, two of the best teams in baseball. That's gonna be fun. I'm gonna see two baseball games in Philadelphia. while we're there. Can't wait to see those two teams go up against each other. And what we all hope, I mean, that would be just like for me, two places I've called home, Cleveland and Philadelphia, for those two teams to play in the World Series, that would be just like that would be the equivalent of the Cubs and the Indians World Series, because I went to high school in Central Illinois, and all my friends were Cub fans, and I was a huge Cub fan growing up. So it would almost be the equivalent of that World Series if I could get a Cleveland-Philadelphia World Series as well. Only this time, Cleveland has to come out on the winning end, because I got to get at least one World Series championship in my life.
It's been what?
Before it's all said and done.
8 years? 10 years?
Well,
for the Guardians?
2016 was that World Series. So, it's been 8 years since the last time the Indians, Guardians, Cleveland was in the World Series. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program.
There's no jar for name change quarters.
No.
There's no quarter jar for name change slip-ups. It's fine.
No. In fact, I'll be wearing probably one of my old Indians jerseys.
I still have
one of those games.
I have one from back in the day, like from the mid '80s.
Oh wow!
With a big old print. You know how like in the '80s, all the T-shirts had like their logos were, basically shoulder to shoulder across your chest. Like I still have one of those. What's the mascot? I'm blanking. The old.
Chief Wahoo.
Chief Wahoo. Yeah, I have a big image of the old logo. I don't necessarily wear it in public, but I do have it somewhere in my closet.
Yeah, I don't wear too much of my Chief Wahoo stuff anymore because people get mad and whatnot. So
yeah, I hold it. I have it because of High Corbett. I have it because of that's when Tucson lost their spring training days and lost the idea that that they were home to Cleveland's team. So I'm holding on to it for the nostalgia of Tucson, not for its meaning behind the scenes of where the original mascot came from.
Right.
And all that. No.
All right, so coming up today, we'll hear more from Caitlin Clark, who has been at the center of a renaissance in women's sports. We'll get her thoughts on that. The British Open, round 2. Tiger Woods was terrible. Colin Montgomery said he'd probably be terrible. Didn't understand why he was there. Well, Tiger didn't do anything to shut anybody up in that respect. The Diamondbacks played already, and they won today. Day game at Wrigley Field. Remember I talked about that last year? That's like on my bucket list. Friday day baseball at Wrigley Field. And then partake in all the fun of Wrigleyville afterwards? Well, that's what you got today if you're a Diamondbacks fan and you were in Chicago. If you're in Chicago listening to this show, I'm sure there's probably not many of you, but if you're there, give us a call, 520-848-1290. I'd love to hear about what's happening right now if the D-backs fans are taking over Wrigleyville right now after a 5-2 win to start the unofficial second half.
Tough fans that take over their space.
Exactly. All right. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather. She, too, will join us today and have everything that's happening here in southern Arizona this weekend.
Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions that are reported, Pima and Alvernon, also Alvernon and 29th Street. Irvington, west of I-19 at Calle Santa Cruz for traffic signals malfunctioning. We do have our best chance of showers, probably coming on Sunday and Monday, and currently 103 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Big O Tires. The monsoon season is coming. Hurry into Big O Tires for the monsoon maintenance package, which includes an oil change, new wiper blades, AC check, and more. Just $49.99 for conventional oil and $79.99 for full synthetic oil. Big O Tires, helping you protect your family.
Good news, everybody. We stay on the air with you for an extra 2 hours after every Arizona football and men's basketball game all season long. That's why we are the home of the Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not a rate based on Terry who keeps and makes the car behind them. Oh no, they're about to. Save with DriveWise and the Allstate app and only pay a rate based on you.
Not available in every state, subject to terms and conditions. Rating factors and savings vary, and in some states your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
And
want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rock & Kay. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Explore natural open space, a network of connecting trails, and a community park within the Vale School District. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rock & Kay with home savings up to $35,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. Live RockandK.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Marco!
Polo!
Marco!
Polo! In a giant pool of business competitors, don't be the one left unseen and out of reach. If you're a business owner and need help with your online presence, let's make it happen. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Boost your website, boost your findability, boost your reputation, boost your business.
Marco?
Yes, I'm Marco.
Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Contact us today at cumulusboost.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Attention. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to Instagram, Snapchat, or TikTok and been treated for eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Text SOCIAL to 323232 for more information. Disclosures by multiple Facebook whistleblowers suggest Instagram knows their social media platforms are highly addictive and cause eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation, but have done little to stop it. If your family has been impacted by social media addiction, you could be eligible for significant compensation. Text SOCIAL to 323232 if you'd like to discuss a lawsuit. Text SOCIAL to 323232. Text the word SOCIAL to 323232.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Motley Rice, attorney Jennifer Guy is responsible for this ad. Motley Rice LLC is headquartered at 28 Bridgeside Boulevard, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina 29464.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire, or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-290-1583. 800-290-1583. Again, that's 800-290-1583. Coverage, deductibles, and claims may vary. For details, go to endurancewarranty.com. For all the latest news from Arizona Stadium, McHale Center, and High Corbin Field, make sure to like us on Facebook at Wildcats 1290. This is the exclusive home of Arizona Athletics. Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. So, how we all living? And I really mean that this morning. What a day this has been. What exactly did you wake up to? I don't know about you, but when I rolled into the studio this morning and I saw somebody in my control room that I'd never seen before, my first thought was, uh-oh. So I went and I found my EP, Tommy. I said, Tommy, who's homeboy in the control room? He said, yo, boss, there's a global outage. Are you not aware? My response was, I am now. Next thing you know, the world is shutting down and half the universe wakes up to the blue death screen with the sad emoticon. Luckily, you can hear me, so that means we're good to go and we're up and firing. Hope you're having a good day, although I know many of you probably are not.
You've got
Got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Summer is heating up, just like the deals at Omaha Steaks. From perfectly aged steaks to juicy burgers, Omaha Steaks is your summer grilling headquarters. Shop the Hotter Than Fire sale at omahasteaks.com for exclusive, unconditional money-back guaranteed packages starting at $99. Plus, get an extra $10 off with promo code SIZZLE at checkout. Visit omahasteaks.com, code SIZZLE for an extra $10 off. Shop the Hotter Than Fire sale today before these deals go up in smoke.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. I'm going to give you our question of the day, and it's what we were talking about in the first segment. This is our last day before vacation. We're not calling off sick. Get an extra day of vacation. We're here. We're working. But are you that guy? Are you that girl? Are you that person who is a use 'em or lose 'em type? Do you have that mentality? Most of us get 8 sick days a year through our job. Are you a use 'em or lose 'em person? Do you call off even when you're not sick? Do you use your sick days as vacation days? Head on over right now to our Twitter account at Wildcats1290. We've got a poll up. You can vote in our poll. You can comment on our poll. You can also comment at 520-848-1290 via call to the show or via text. Right now, early, 75% of you saying no. I only use my sick days if I'm sick. Who are you? Are you that person? Are you a yes? Give me 8 more days of freedom, use them or lose them. Are you a no? I only take sick days if I absolutely cannot make it to work.
Do you think there's an overlap between people who don't buy toilet paper for their houses and don't ever buy pens for their houses because maybe they have some of those in their pockets when they're leaving work?
Ah.
I just think there's
That's interesting.
There's a general. I mean, I get. Don't get me wrong.
Interesting.
Like I get the mentality of I've given 6 days or whatever, but there's an overlap of allowing yourself to do those types of things as well.
Indeed. I have so many pens. I literally, I think I still have pens and pencils, I think I have at least one pen or one pencil because I used to work in in game broadcasting. So I used to like to operate in pencils a lot, especially when I worked in baseball because I would make mistakes and I'd like to be able to erase stuff.
Sure.
I think I have a pencil from every team I've ever worked with.
Yeah, no, collecting is one thing. I'll tell you this, I've mentioned on the show, but I have actually illustrated books. Like, I have actually been an illustrator at one point in my life. And DK, I got to tell you, like, from that perspective, having the pen that you want to use or pencils that you want to use for that craft, it becomes very important. It's like using somebody else's glove in the outfield. You need to have that. So I would always keep pens on me, but not within reach of anybody I've had several coworkers here in this very room that I'm sitting in right now. I would put $10, dollar Bic pens or whatever in this jar over here, come back the next day and there'd be one left. So I've always kept those in my pocket. Definitely don't allow anybody to walk off with those.
No, don't want to do that whatsoever. People will take pens. That's why we give them away. That's why one of our giveaways, I think, at a lot of these events we go to, is a pen or something of that nature because people like to have stuff to write with. It's really interesting in that respect. 520-848-1290 is the number. Let's talk to Doug. You are on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, fellas, I missed you. How are you?
Good, Doug. How are you?
Good. I thought I'd take the chance to get involved in non-sports discussion with you guys.
There you
It's an interesting topic to me. Yeah, so let's see. In my school years, I was Mr. Perfect attendance. I wanted to win the award.
Right.
For didn't miss a day the whole school year kind of thing.
Now,
you know?
really quick,
and
before
get
you
to go
move
up on stage for that.
Before
Yeah.
you move on, was that because you felt like the curriculum you had put together and you knew exactly what you were doing? It was part of it that you had your own thing going and you were not so sure that somebody stepping in off the curb who might not know your students or know exactly where you were at in the curriculum might not be.
Okay, no, wait.
No, I think
you're talking about when I was a teacher.
Yeah,
I'm talking about when I was a
I
student.
thought you meant when you were teaching.
No,
you mean as a student?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that'll be part two. But part one was as a student, and I chalked that up to my parents, where they had me terrified that if I miss one day of school, that'll be the one day I fall behind on something important, and wouldn't be prepared for the test or whatever it was. So I was pretty nose to the grindstone on that. Now to my teaching years, yeah, you're right on track there. Where as a teacher, and people don't really appreciate this, they see a substitute come in one day, and when you know you're going to be out, you have to prepare entire lesson plans and have everything buttoned up so that somebody can step in and do your job for you. And then when you come back from whatever absence you had, you've got all kinds of papers to grade and new lesson plans to write, and it just became a real burden. And so it was kind of a disincentive to take days off. And after 9 years of teaching, I had accumulated something like 1,500 hours of paid time off.
Wow.
And yeah, that's like 187 days. I just had to do the math. It's been a while, so I don't remember. That's like 6 months of
Take
paid
the whole
time
year
off.
off. You didn't have to teach for a year.
That's right. But with the state government system, they would give you some compensation for those days when you left the district. So I got a nice paycheck when I left. So there's something to be said for that.
See, that was was real quick. That was one of the things. I worked at several places where they would pay you out at the end of the year.
That's right.
For your sick days. So that was another incentive early in my career. It's like, well, why would I'm not going to blow money I can get at the end of the year if I'm not really sick.
Mm-hmm.
I was just. I mean, and again, I think part of it from us too is I love my job. I love this job.
Exactly.
It's not work, it's a career. And I mean, I don't, why would I want to take time off unless I'm absolutely there's some reason I'm mad or something like that. And don't get me wrong. The few times I've done it is because I remember twice I did it because I was pissed off. I didn't get a promotion. So I called off for 2 days in a row because I was mad. And I did it once because I went to buy a car on my off day, and I couldn't finish buying it because there was so much going on. So I had to take another day to finish buying my car.
I think when it comes to your career, the lack of missed days is a part of that, that resume you're putting together. Look at Mikal Bridges, right? Hasn't missed a game since he was in high school. That guy on the television and that guy who won all those awards in radio, I know he's always going to be there. Like, that's a part of your career was – David Kelly, always there, always on the scene, always doing that thing. That's a part of building that, reputation for your career as well.
Yeah, that becomes a resume builder for sure. But yeah, so that's something like advice for the young people is, check the policy at the place where you work. Do you get any credit for those days if you don't use them? Because if you don't get any credit for them and they're truly use it or lose it, I say use it. And that kind of leads me to my final career that I had. That company, I used them. I mean, I used them as much as I could because I knew that there wasn't any carryover. And then also, I got to see from when people would leave the company, whether it was voluntarily or not, that they were just old news. The minute when you're at the job, you feel like everyone appreciates you. And this is kind of a downer take, but at the end of the day, it's a business.
That's
and when you leave
true.
when you leave the company, you're kind of old news to those folks. And oh, you remember that guy that used to work here? So why did you, and I hope that the station is not like that and other places that people are listening are not like that. But the place I was, it's like, oh, what happened to Roy? Oh yeah, he's gone. So Roy should have used those days off and focused on his mental health and enjoyed himself, taking vacations, And if you leave and you wasted all that time off, and you just gave everything you could to the company, and then after you leave, you don't feel like they even appreciated you. You kind of feel like you're a sucker, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's kind of my take on it. If I were to work again, which I'm not looking to do, but if I were to work again, yeah,
Must be nice, Doug. You just don't have to work.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. But like, if I were, I would use those days when I could. When I was teaching, I mean, the only time I really took days off was for the NCAA tournament when I would travel to follow the team. Yeah, I mean, aside from that, I was doing all my vacations during the summer.
So you got your report card work done early then. That's about the same time
So
of
on
year.
those, boy, I would really work on everything like a week in advance. If I knew that the NCAA tournament was coming up, and I'm like, all right, let's see, I'll be in Kansas City this week, and then hopefully San Antonio the week after that, and hopefully Indianapolis the week after that, or whatever, or Minneapolis or whatever it was.
Real quick.
And so, yeah, a lot of planning.
I think, yeah, I mean, interpersonal relationships with coworkers is modern times is, I think, the biggest takeaway I've had in my jobs in the last 15 or 20 years. As far as that, not being maybe appreciated after the fact, there's a lot of cogs out there, right? I mean, there's a lot of cogs that are capable of replacing. And so that idea of, you're great while you're doing that thing, but maybe when you're not doing it anymore, easily forgotten. Yeah. I just think that's just the state of the way a lot of businesses are run these days, because the show must go on, right? It's like the business has to keep going. Yeah. Their goal is to make money, and thank you for your contribution. And there's another cog here waiting in line if you can't do it.
Right. It's it's kind of a sad perspective or commentary on working life, but in my jobs, I felt like that was my extended family. I spent more time at my office than I did at my home, and we had parties together. We would, hang out after work together. We would exchange numbers and text about this and that. And then, once you leave the company, you're just like, everyone's old news, and I don't really think about them anymore. They don't think about me anymore. It's sad, but so my point is, like, don't just be a cog, or if you are a cog, don't let it prevent you from enjoying your paid time off, because that's part of why you are working hard, is that it's one of the benefits of working, So that's just my advice on that. Hey, you mentioned collecting pencils. I'll get back to sports here for a quick second. Do you guys remember the pencil vending machines back in like the early?
The big fat
vending machines.
The NFL pencil vending machine.
Yeah, were those the big fat ones?
Okay.
I don't think they were fat. Yeah. They were just painted for each NFL team's logo and color scheme. And it's like you put 10 cents in the vending machine and a pencil would drop out, and you just don't know which one you're going to get. And you're like, I got the Vikings, or I got the Steelers or the Cowboys. And then it was like trading cards.
I remember
if you had like a Cowboys one, you could trade it for like 6 other teams.
I remember that with the little helmets. Like you would put the helmets, you put in a quarter.
I remember
and
those
try
are
to
the
get a helmet.
tastiest of all the pencils, so I don't think they lasted very long.
Oh man, I'm right there with you, J-Dub. I chewed on my share of pencils. That probably caused us all kinds of brain damage. But anyway, I had that fun recollection when you talked about collecting pencils. I don't have any of them anymore, but that was kind of fun back in the day. People should Google it, because if you're too young to understand what we mean, it was kind of a fun pastime.
No question about that. The pencils, the helmets, all of it, for sure. Doug, we always appreciate your call.
11 days, Doug.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. What's 11 days? Camp?
Fall camp.
Oh, awesome. All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Good talking to you guys.
Doug in Tucson, always checking in. Cricket checks in every 20 minutes on the 5s, 15, 35, 55 with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. With a collision that's clearing at Alvernon and 29th Street in Alvernon, Irvington, west of I-19 at Irvington and Calle Santa Cruz, traffic signals malfunctioning. Reportedly about a 15% chance of showers today and 104 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Big O Tires. The monsoon season is coming. Hurry into Big O Tires for the monsoon maintenance package, which includes an oil change, new wiper blades, AC check, and more. Just $49.99 for conventional oil and $79.99 for full synthetic oil. Big O Tires, helping you protect your family.
Back to UberTube expert Eugene Snurkle and his best friend friend Doug.
Eugene, is it true you can't fix your car's air conditioning, so you're moving to Alaska or the North Pole or something?
Sorry, Doug. I meant to tell you, but I just can't seem to crack the code on fixing my car's AC.
Sorry to interrupt, Eugene, but we all know how this needs to end with a trip to Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Hi folks, Sean Furrier here with some sizzling summer specials. Besides the chilly prices on AC repair and big tire rebates, we've also got Duramax 5-year free replacement batteries on sale this month with a $25 installation credit. That means free installation for most cars and trucks.
Seems a bit extreme.
Yes, Doug, an extremely tough battery built for Arizona, and you can be extremely confident in the Duramax 5-year free replacement guarantee. So for award-winning service, call or stop by one of our 14 area locations or make an appointment online. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
Really?
Really, really?
Really? Free! That's our polar bear promise.
You don't need us telling you it's been hot.
Really hot.
Really, really?
You just need to know, if your AC breaks down,
we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
William just said that.
It's the Alaskan AC
With
service
Alaskan
guarantee.
AC service guarantee.
Hey, Gary was speaking.
Thanks. Like I was saying, we'll arrive
in one day or your repair is free.
Okay, let's try this. At Alaskan Air Conditioning, we promise to be at your house in 24 hours or the fixing thing won't cost you any money.
What? What?
What? I just said with Alaskan
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
See, now that's easy to remember.
It's a toe tapper.
Really?
Really, really, from AlaskanAC.com.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Does Umar Ballo's decision to play for the Indiana Hoosiers change your feeling about his legacy as an Arizona Wildcats player?
Umar Ballo was about as wildcat as it gets. Look at the smile on his face when he talks about what the McHale crowd means to him. That's real. How do you be a fan, David? That's the conversation we're having. You want to open that Pandora's box. Like, what does it mean to be a fan, and how do you fan? Well, that's really up to you.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
It's kickoff time, and Believe podcasts are here to get you ready for the season.
He wanted to change the culture, and he wanted me to be a part of that.
With Believe, you get immediate reactions, game previews, and expert analysis from all 32 teams, plus all of your favorite college teams.
He's just rare in just about everything he does.
Sideline to sideline, end zone to end zone.
This was good for everybody.
Just search Believe. That's BLEAV podcast, wherever you listen.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
So hot. Hi, can I help you?
Good afternoon. We're with Goodfellas AC Rapid Response Team.
But I didn't call yet.
That's how fast we are, man.
Just as I thought, this AC is out.
No, we're not gonna lose it. Come on. Come on. Don't you die on me.
Johnson, get a hold of yourself. Sorry, we take this very seriously.
Wow, you fellas are good.
It's not just a name, ma'am.
It's who we are kind of thing.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. Goodfellasac.com.
This is Jim Rome with a Sports Minute, sponsored by Vanguard. Investments and advice for all of life's chapters. Russell Westbrook to the Nuggets by way of the Jazz. You know what? The more I think about that, the more I find that pretty interesting. What's incredible, though, is that he is on the move again. You might want to say that he's washed and he's faded, yet there's always a taker. So he can't be that washed or that faded. I'm Jim Rome.
At Vanguard, you're more than just an investor, you're an owner. So whether you're planning for retirement or trying to save up for your next big adventure, Vanguard will help work alongside you to set personalized investment goals. That's the value of ownership. All investing is subject to risk. Vanguard is owned by its funds, which are owned by Vanguard's fund shareholder clients. Vanguard Marketing Corporation, distributor.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. I fell down the meme hole during the break. J-Dub, I gotta read two of these. Are funny. So you're familiar with the most interesting man in the world from the Dos Equis commercials, right?
I am.
Like, so there's basically a meme for everything in terms of this guy. Like, so this one came in regards to our conversation here, our question of the day about calling in sick to work. It says, I don't always call in sick for work, but when I do, it can't be Friday because that's clearly BS.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And then there's this other one here. This one goes back a ways. I believe I used up all my sick days, so I'm calling in dead.
Yeah. Some jobs are like that, DK. Not this one.
No. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. Yesterday we were talking about the fact that it had not rained in several days, which was a good thing because the fact that it rained so badly and the storms were so harsh on Sunday, and a lot of people, had wind with the wind, had roof damage. They finally cut up that tree, although they kind of left it there in our driveway. It's cut up and cleared, but it's kind of just laying there in the edge of the driveway here at Wildcats Radio 1290 Cumulus Media. And then last night, so I leave here, and it's starting to get windy, and I'm driving home. There's no rain here in the CNWT, but as soon as I start up Hacienda del Sol, man, that rain starts coming down, and I get to the crib, and literally, J-Dub, I sat in my car for 45 minutes because it was raining too hard for me to get out.
Yeah.
Like you're thinking like, okay, this is like a normal monsoon storm. It's going to rain for a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes at the most. It did not let up for over 45 minutes.
Well, you shouldn't be wearing your leather coat and leather shoes all the time to work.
Oh my God. I forgot. It's funny because we, when I worked in television, everybody had to have monsoon gear.
Right.
Which was like you had to have a coat. You had to have boots just in case you had to go out and cover something that, during the monsoon. So it was like mandatory at both stations. I worked at Channel 13 and Fox 11. I worked at KVOA Channel 4. It was mandatory for everybody to have monsoon gear in their car. So I'd forgotten that I still had my KVOA raincoat. I kept it.
Yeah.
There's one reason I kept it. I said, I gave most of my gear away, but I kept the raincoat because I said, you never know when you're going to need a raincoat, especially during the summertime. I forgot it was still in the back of my car, so I probably could have made a run for it at some point. And then I just finally remembered. I was like, oh, wait, I got that coat in the back because I didn't have an umbrella. But, I mean, it rained and it rained and it rained for a long time.
I think most people
who've
been around for a while have seen every sorts of sideways, up and down rain.
Whew.
And I've been here, 40 plus years. I'll tell you this. I was the manager at Sausage Deli on campus at the Student Union 2. And this was in the early 90s. And one day I was walking home to work. I lived on like 9th and Tyndall, south of campus. And I was standing on the sidewalk on 6th, DK, the liquor store, U of A liquor store across the street. And I was bone dry. There had not been a drop of rain on my side of the street. On the other side of the street,
Diamondbacks download,
where the actual sidewalk started, you couldn't see 10 feet beyond. You couldn't see 10 feet into the other side of the street. So this was maybe 80 feet, 100 feet away from me at the most. Those are the really scary ones, like you're saying. When there's those, what are they called? There's like these sudden downspouts of just tremendous amounts of rain. And those, if you get right underneath one of those, it's almost like a weight on top of it.
I mean, it felt like that last night for sure. We have a little like pond, like a stream in our complex, and it was flooding over into the walkway and whatnot. And I think it got to a point where it looked like the pool might flood over as well. Just a lot of rain for a long period of time, and it seems like we're seeing a lot more of that, especially up in the foothills where it'll just rain for 30 plus minutes really hard versus some of these, monsoon storms we were used to where it might just be a quick 10, 15 minutes and it's done. These storms are just getting progressively longer and longer and longer. Almost like you said, the cloud is just sitting there unloading.
It's so much better now as far as the roads are concerned, because growing up, everybody remembers like the 83 flood, was it, where the houses fell into the river. And, back then, there really were no underground. Like Sunrise, all across Sunrise, the washes went over the top. River was the same. So you're talking about that foothill area where all the rain gathers and all those little canyons and then starts coming down towards the valley. Yeah, I mean, at least nowadays, those are passable roads during those moments. I have to go down Tucson on a regular basis with the reverse crown. Have you seen that? So the drains are in the middle of the road instead of on the gutters where normally they would be by the sidewalks. But this one crowns in, so all the water flows to the middle. So no matter what you do, all those neighborhoods drain into there. So after any storm, it's always a river. It's not even a street.
So you know what I did for that 45 minutes?
What's that?
I listened to the former president of the United States give his acceptance speech at the Republican National Convention. And I guess fortunate for me, because I had to sit in my car for 45 minutes, that he talked for 90 minutes, the longest speech ever for a candidate at a convention, a political convention in United States political history. 90 minutes. So at least I had that for the 45 minutes that I was stuck in my car. Hulk Hogan even showed up last night.
But what happened last week when they took a shot at my hero and they tried to kill the next president of the United States? Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
And he ripped off his shirt in the process, like only Hulk Hogan can rip off a shirt. Were you into wrestling growing up?
I mean, I was of the age group. Like, I was in, I want to say, like, junior high school when the cartoon came out. Remember, like, they became popular. Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Before Macho Man and those guys, like, before that, in the early 83, 84, 85, 86, that's when they got super popular. I mean, I can appreciate it, but I would say no. I have never really been into wrestling because I like real drama. Like I love sports, DK.
Exactly.
I mean, if there's no time on the clock and a guy's at the free throw line, and if he makes it, they win the championship. If he misses it, they lose. To me, that's riveting. But if my brain knows it's forced drama, and I'm not here to talk fake, real, any of that stuff, it's obviously real in that they're jumping around doing somersaults and stuff. But all the heel work and everything else, it's just a storyline written by some people. And I like real drama as opposed to a lot of stuff that's made for TV. Has always kind of been my thing.
Hulk Hogan might not be as strong as he used to be.
He like 75?
Took him a few extra pulls to get that shirt.
Well, didn't they
ripped up?
Didn't they pre-rip him back in the day?
Yeah, I think that one might have been pre-ripped. It looked he kind of had it going a little bit.
Fibers in manufacturing are becoming much stronger these days.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe should have got him a vintage 80s shirt.
Hulk Hogan doing his thing last night at the Republican National Convention where Donald Trump talked for 90 minutes.
You know
the
what,
longest speech all time.
You know what else it is, DK? I don't have any brothers. So I think if you grow up with brothers, you're much more inclined to throw a suplex at your older brother every once in a while, or practice jumping off the top ropes. And I just didn't have that growing up. That wasn't a thing. So I did definitely watch wrestling, but I wasn't practicing the moves that I saw on TV in the backyard.
I told you
wasn't a thing.
I told you my Macho Man story.
Tell me.
Okay, so I spent one summer in college working at the airport, the old airport in Denver, Stapleton. And so the fellows came through. They did a show at the old McNichols Sports Arena, Big Mac, in Denver. And they were flying out the next day. And I was working curbside. My uncle was a long-time skycap at United Airlines. And so I spent a summer working on the curb as an assistant. So the fellows come through, and we're helping them with their luggage. And Macho Man goes inside, and he was seen in one of these stores buying feminine products for Miss Elizabeth.
Sure.
So here's this guy, Randy Macho Man Savage.
Sure.
But not too macho that he can't go in and get what his lady friend needs to be comfortable.
Yeah, good dude.
So that was my long-lasting image of Randy Macho Man Savage. And Hulk was there. They were all there. Hulk, just a good friendly group of guys. They shook hands with everybody. They took pictures. I mean, those guys are always among, I always say, like, when you talk about meeting professional athletes and how friendly they are, I'll put wrestlers in that realm. I'll put race car drivers in that realm. They're generally always willing to stop and talk and take pictures and all kinds of things like that. The antithesis of Reggie Jackson, who, just stiffed a couple of kids that he didn't know
start in New
who they
York,
were.
though? Was that a thing when he was in A? Or was that just a New York thing?
I don't know if he did that in Oakland or not.
Incidentally, while we're still in this same segment, this ambience that I was playing, DK, is actual monsoon Tucson sound.
Oh, wow.
Listen. Those are Colorado River toads.
Nice.
And this is thunder.
What's that screaming? That's a what?
It's a Colorado River toad. They come out. They come out this time of year.
Is that the big one?
Well, yeah, they get really big. Sure.
We remember. I think it was last week. I told you that one of our neighbors said there was a huge toad. I saw the toad last night. I got out of the car. When I got out of the car to make a run for it, I saw something really large move in the rocks by our entrance. Yeah. And I looked down, and it was the huge toad.
I live in the middle of concrete land, and I saw a half-sized one, which is about fist size. I mean, full-size, they're very, very large. I saw about a half-sized one sitting on our actual doorstep a couple days ago.
It was as big as this cup. I mean, it was big.
My dad's house was right up by off of Hidden Valley, Snyder, that whole area up by Sabino Canyon, and he had creek access. And I'm telling you, DK, growing up, the whole ground moves, because they come out once the monsoons and they have tadpoles, and then they make little toads. And so yeah, this time of year, especially up there by where you are, you will definitely see them if you keep an eye out.
Yeah, saw the big toad last night that everybody in the neighborhood had been talking about. It was fascinating. DK on the Sports Tip coming up in the next hour. It is almost the start of football practice for not only the college kids, but the high school kids, and fall practices for a number of sports are going to be happening. It is still very hot, so we're going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you anything because I don't know anything, but I've got a nurse. I got a nurse who's going to come on and tell you how the symptoms you should look for to make sure you know if anything is going wrong if you're out there competing in really, really hot temperatures. Cricket is here. J-Dub is here. Again, my name is David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
It's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Broadway and Wilmot and Broadway Boulevard with a collision reported. Irvington west of I-19 at Irvington and Calle Santa Cruz, traffic signals malfunctioning. There's a 15% chance of showers today into this evening and 105 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. With Staples Hot Deals, you'll find super low prices on hundreds of items for back to school. Right now, 24-pack Crayola crayons and comp books are just 45 cents each at Staples. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program. Ends 9/14. Prices valid in select stores. Limit 30. Save big on back to school at Staples.
Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane! No, it's...
I'm Captain Tobacco from Tobacco Barn.
My tobacco hero.
I'm here to wipe out high prices on tobacco products. I'm also here to inform citizens that you could save up to 40% on your favorite tobacco products. Pay no city or state sales tax at Tobacco Barn and save up to another $3 with a coupon at tobaccobarntucson.com. Uh-oh, I see high prices. Excuse me.
Save up to 40% off all your tobacco products at Tobacco Barn. Tobacco Barn is on the Indian Reservation, so you're not paying state tax or any city sales tax. Plus, you can get a coupon for an additional $3 off at tobaccobarntucson.com.
Take it from Captain Tobacco. Save up to 40%. Save with no city or state sales tax. And save with a coupon at tobaccobarntucson.com. Well, time for me to fly.
Tobacco Barn, Nogales Highway just south of Valencia. Check tobaccobarntucson.com.
We get you so close to the action at McHale, it feels like Wilbur and Wilma are in the car with you. This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work. Oh. Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. The one and only home of the Jim Rome Show. Rich Eisen and DK on the Sports Tip.
You know, this is vastly different. There's a lot of clapping, a lot of hugging, a lot of handshaking.
We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
I'm sorry I can't work today. I'm too busy pretending to be sick so I can finish all the things I should have done over the weekend. More calling in sick memes. We'll have them all day here, right? Here at Wildcats Radio.
It's universal, right? It's like lawyer memes. You know, everybody's got one.
Oh, man. I could go down this rabbit hole and really spend a lot of time laughing. But the I believe I used up all my sick days, so I'm calling in dead. That's really, really good. Really, really good. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. 520-848-1290. We were talking in the last segment, and the Diamondbacks tried to butt in on our conversation because they are so pleased with themselves. So let's give them their due here and talk about what they did today.
Diamondbacks download.
Baseball stuff! Baseball stuff!
All right, the Diamondbacks, pretty strong finish to the first half of the season, an official first half of the season, as they went into the break almost with the hands of a sweep over San Diego. But again, they went from 4 games under 500 at 39-43 to a game over 500, winning 10 of their last 15 games down the stretch, including 4 of their last 5. And they opened things up in the second half today, a Friday day game in Chicago at Wrigley Field. Again, this is on my bucket list. Have you done that? If you've done that, if you've been to a Friday day game at Wrigley Field, I want to hear from you today. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290, because I thought we'd intended to do this last year because the Guardians were playing in Chicago and we had to cancel our trip due to some family things that were happening at the time, so we did not get a chance to do that. But it has always been on my bucket list to go to a Friday afternoon game at Wrigley Field.
Considering how many Illinois transplants have come to Phoenix and Tucson in the last 40 years, DK, I would imagine that's a pretty big number.
Yes.
Maybe not listening at this exact moment, but as far as number of people in Phoenix and Tucson who have been to a day game in Wrigley is probably up there with any other city in America that's not Chicago.
Let's hear from you. I want to hear from you. We had, if you listened to our station earlier, the guys from BetQL, they said they had the Cubs. They had the Cubs winning this game on the money line today. Good thing we don't listen to them too much, because they were absolutely wrong. Diamondbacks would get things going in the 3rd inning.
You see yourself in that 2 spot. 1-2. Swinging a hard hit ground ball. That's a base hit into center. Thomas going to fly around 3rd. He will score. And Moreno, your 2-hitter, gives the Diamondbacks an early 1-0 lead.
How about Gabby Moreno hitting out of the 2-hole, 3 hits today? How about your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hitters? Ketel Marte, 2 hits. Gabby Moreno, 3 hits. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., 2 hits. Christian Walker had a hit. It came right here with 2 on.
1-0 Snakes. 1 down. And the pitch swung on. That's hit well towards the gap in left center. Racing over his half. He can't reach it. That's down for a hit. Marte scores. Moreno rounding 3rd. He will score as well. And Walker with a 2-run single to make it 3-0 Diamondbacks.
So Walker, 2 hits, or I said a hit and 2 RBIs out of that 4-hole. Randall Grichuk batting 5th. He had 2 hits in this ball game. So your first 5 hitters combined for 5, 7, 10 hits. 10 of the 12 hits that the Diamondbacks got in this ball game, as they would chase the Cubs starter in Justin Steele in just 4 2/3 innings. Allowed 9 hits to Justin Steele, gave up 5 runs in this ball game. D-backs had the lead. On the mound was Ryne Nelson. Nelson pitched very well today.
0-2. Swing and a miss. And that's a half dozen strikeouts for Nelson. 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Fastball on the outer 3rd. And the inning is over. That's 7 for Nelson through 5.
I think for him, just get back to the bread and butter. Maybe a slider, but use that fastball.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner, and a career-high 9 strikeouts for Ryne Nelson.
In each of his last 3, all called strikes, all on the outside corner.
But it was not easy. It took Ryne Nelson 96 pitches. He was pulled with 1 out in the 6th, so didn't get to the, quote, quality start category that you need, 6 innings. but still pretty good. 5 2/3, allowed just a run on 3 hits, struck out 9, walked 2. Kevin Ginkel did give up a base hit and allowed a run to come in after Nelson left. Ginkel, though, an inning and a third, did not allow a run of his own. Things got dicey. The bullpen wasn't great today. Jose Martinez gave up a run and had 2 walks in his limited time in there. Ryan Thompson gave up a hit but got a hold. He now has 16. Paul Sewald was in trouble again. Gave up a couple of hits and had the tying run at the plate with just 1 out in the bottom of the 9th.
2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And the Cubs are down to their final out. Maya at second, Horner at first. The 1-2. Swing and a foul tip and held on by Moreno. That's your ball game. Diamondbacks win it by a final score of 5-2.
So the Cubs were the money line favorite at -155, but the Diamondbacks win it 5-2. Paul Sewald, his 14th save, strikes out the final 2 batters of the game. So no white flag flying over Wrigley. No Cubs go, go Cubs go, or whatever the hell they sing. None of that today. Ryne Nelson, 5 2/3, gets the win. He's now 7-6, and the D-backs start the second half of the season with a 5-2 victory to push now to 2 games above 500. We were talking about it before the break. What was this team going to be with about 11 days to go before the deadline? And it looks like this team is in it to win it because they're hot now. They're in this race, in the wild card race. Not going to win the division. I mean, it would take a miracle for them to catch the Dodgers. But as we saw from this team last year, you just got to get in. And right now, the Diamondbacks are a half game out of the 3rd wild card position in the National League. After they win today, they're sitting behind the Braves, Cardinals, and the Mets in the National League race, a half game up on their division mates, the San Diego Padres. So good start today in Chicago.
So the Dodgers have won 10 out of 11?
Yeah.
Only the Giants in 2021 NL West. So I mean, bringing over the best, quote-unquote, best hitter in the game, according to the starting pitcher for the NL. I think it's tough with that payroll.
It is. So you just got to get in. It's all about getting in, and then you let the cards fall. And strange things happen in the postseason. Strange things happen. We're a long way from that. But you want to continue to play good baseball, and that's what the Diamondbacks are doing right now. We'll see if we can get you some Torey Lovello sound a little bit later. Get his thoughts on what they did today and what's ahead. You've got the weekend in Chicago taking on the Cubs, so you'll have 3 more games there this weekend to start this road trip. And then after Chicago, the Diamondbacks will head to Kansas City, another team that's playing pretty decent baseball. So 6 on the road, and then the Pirates come to town. How about that? You got 6 games coming up against the Pirates in the not-too-distant future. So we may get to see, how about Paul Skeens? I wonder if he's lined up, if we know yet if Paul Skeens is lined up potentially for a start here in Arizona. Just according to what I'm looking at right now, he would not start either the first 2 games. Just that ESPN kind of lists the starters they believe are going to go. And they've got game 1, which is a week from today. It'll be Ortiz for the Pirates, and then Gonzalez on Saturday. Maybe Skeens on Sunday, but we may not know that until the end of this weekend, and we see how the Pirates rotation kind of lines up coming out of the All-Star break. But, man, wouldn't it be cool to see Paul Skeens on the bump here in the desert next weekend?
Speaking of way too early, DK, the D-backs are half a game currently out of the wild card.
Yeah.
From the Mets. So
right.
It's Braves, Cardinals, and Mets are ahead of them.
Yep. Indeed. You know who's always ahead of us? Cricket. Cricket is always ahead of us. Cricket.
I don't know, man.
It is the weekend. Woo!
Finally.
So let me ask you, Cricket. This is our question of the day.
Okay.
We're going to pose it to you because you're like us. You're always here. I don't know. I've been here a year now. I don't know that you've ever, except, you had some situations going on with the family, which is totally acceptable in those situations. But for the most part, you never call in sick.
Right.
Okay. So most of us get 8 sick days a year through our job. Are you a use them or lose them person?
I'll lose them. I do every year.
There you go.
Definitely.
There you go. We're all on the same page with that.
I mean, unless I was really sick, or you know what I mean. But
yeah, exactly. And if you're really sick, that's one thing. But it's the people who call off, like we were talking about this. We're on vacation next week. Well, you have to work, but
no, I'll be off too.
Oh, you're off too.
Yeah.
Oh, well, cool. All right. So this is like the people that drive me crazy are the people that like call off the day before they're on vacation.
Oh, yeah. Or maybe the day the day they have to come back.
Exactly.
Right.
Either one. The day before, the day after. I those people always drove me crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cannot stand that.
Nope.
All right. So we'll be on vacation starting tomorrow. I won't be here, but you all will be here, and a lot of you will be. So what's happening this weekend around Southern Arizona?
Well, this weekend, a Stevie Wonder listening party tonight at Revel Wine Bar. It starts at 8 this evening.
That's a cool little spot if you've never been to Revel.
It does sound kind of cool. Chillin' at the Chul at Tohono Chul Park. That happens tonight and tomorrow from 6 to 9 p.m. Tomorrow night, Summer Safari Nights at Reed Park Zoo. Tomorrow's theme is Caring for Carnivores. And on Sunday, Frozen is screening at the Fox Tucson Theater at 2 p.m.
Frozen. Mm-hmm. Are you a Disney fan?
I mean, some of their movies, I've never seen Frozen.
No.
I've seen bits and pieces
When
because
was
of
the
my
last time
nieces.
you either sang or hummed a Disney song?
What's the one? The Frozen is the is that the one?
Like Elsa and like Olaf and
yeah.
We
don't have kids, guys. So we need to remind our listeners that
that's why we
They're
don't.
like, fortunately, who are these aliens that don't know these songs.
No, fortunately for us, we don't have like 4 different replays of Frozen on a loop every single day in our living rooms. That's why most people know those songs.
So I just went to Disney last year, but now I cannot remember any of the stuff. Be Your Best, is that Frozen?
That was Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, that's Beauty and the Beast.
I don't know.
Oh,
okay.
Something like
listen
that.
to you, J-Dub.
That was well, you're talking about
he can bail us out of just about anything.
Well, I was also an illustrator and animator, so Disney has kind of been like Disney is who you go to study if you want to do animation. So yeah, I definitely in the 90s, from like Little Mermaid through Beauty and the Beast and those kind of movies when they first started doing 3D stuff. I think Pixar has been my go-to more than the last like 20 years. I have seen Frozen, but I've never seen it more than once. Let's put it that way.
I don't even think that's the right title. I don't think I had that title right. It's not Be Your Best. It's something else. I don't know. Somebody knows. They can call us and tell us.
Do not call us and sing Disney songs at us, please.
If they want to call and sing Disney, then we will definitely put them on the air.
We'll make a commercial out of it, and then it'll be on 24/7 on the station.
All right, Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes. You'll have more of what's coming up for you in the 5 o'clock hour.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collisions that are reported in Clearing, Broadway, and Wilmot, and also Valencia and Midvale Park. And roadwork eastbound and westbound on Grant Road west of Dodge Boulevards down to 1 lane. A 15% chance of showers today and 105 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Don't miss up to 70% off select major appliances at the Lowe's Closeout event. But hurry, these deals are too good to last because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7. While supplies last, selection varies by location.
Attention Tucson! We bring you every minute of Arizona men's basketball, both home and away, all season long. We are the home of the Arizona Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
Really?
Really? Free.
That's our polar bear promise.
You don't need us telling you it's been hot.
Really hot.
Really.
You just need to know if your AC breaks down,
we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free. William just said that.
It's the Alaskan AC service guarantee.
AC service guarantee. Hey, Gary was speaking.
Thanks. Like I was saying, we'll arrive
in one day or your repair is free. Okay, let's try this. At Alaskan Air Conditioning, we promise to be at your house in 24 hours or the fixing thing won't cost you any money.
What?
What? I just said with Alaskan AC. Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
See, now that's easy to remember.
It's a toe tapper.
Really from
AlaskanAC.com.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9318. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9318. That's 800-575-9318. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Why are there so many options to listen to Wildcats Radio 1290? Like the Odyssey.com and iHeartRadio app. Well, to be honest, they asked to carry the best sports station in town, and we didn't want to hurt their feelings.
That is so sweet.
This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
I'm Omar Reese with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Houston quarterback C.J. Stroud won the 2023 AP Offensive Rookie of the Year, but his head coach D'Amico Ryans believes he can improve, saying, quote, C.J. did a lot of good his rookie year, but we know we can see him grow. Can we get a little bit better each day? We saw how good he was from the first day of camp last year to our last game. Meanwhile, Saints quarterback Derek Carr told a Pardon My Take podcast he met with and considered signing with the Jets during the 2023 offseason, saying, quote, I could have signed with New York. It just wasn't the right time for me. There were still like 4 or 5 teams I had to hear from. I remember sitting there with Jets coach Robert Saleh, and he's like, look, man, we'd love to have you. It's up to you. And staying in New Orleans, they placed right tackle Ryan Ramczyk on the reserve physically unable to perform list Thursday, meaning he'll miss the first 4 games of the regular season. He's been slow to make progress from off-season knee surgery and did not participate in OTAs or the veteran minicamp. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
As you know, summertime is here. And for most people, that means more activities, more golf, more biking, more of whatever you love to do. But if you're dealing with minor aches and pains, your more could become less. This is why I'm here to tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. You see, instead of masking your pain, Relief Factor's formula is designed to help reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free, and it's been a game changer for so many people. So let's get after it this summer. Let's feel good. Let's do more of the things that we love to do. Don't let pain keep you down. Give Relief Factor a try and save on your first order. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. It is football night in Arizona, USL League 2, the regional round. The Tucson Regional begins tonight. In fact, it begins at about 38 minutes over at Keno North Stadium. Ventura County, the Fusion, taking on Albion Soccer Club from Colorado. That'll be the opening game tonight. And then FC Tucson is in the late game at 7:30 against Flatirons FC, also from Colorado. Let's talk some about what's happening here in Tucson tonight. We're pleased to be joined by Michael Bruskowski. He is the Sports Information Director from Arizona Western College. He will call these games tonight from the broadcast chair. And Michael, just give us a scene set out there at Keno North Stadium as we creep up on kickoff here coming up in about 40 minutes.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. You know, it's exciting. We've got 4 teams, the West Conference, 8 total teams in the Western Conference, 4 meeting here in Tucson, 2 from the Southwest Division and 2 from the Mountain Division. First time FC Tucson's been in the USL2 playoffs since their final year in the USL2 in 2018. So exciting for FC Tucson, who missed out in the playoffs by just a point last season. Ventura County Fusion coming in. They're the powers in the USL2. They've won a couple of USL2 titles, including 2 years ago. And then, Albion FC Colorado, one of the newer faces in the USL2, have put together a really good season. They finished second in the Mountain Division. And, of course, FC Tucson taking on Flatirons FC tonight, one of the top scoring teams in the league. They won the Mountain Division. So really good soccer out here tonight. This pre-professional level is so quality and just a lot of good players on the pitch these 2 games, and it should be a fun weekend here in Tucson.
Now, obviously, you mentioned it's 1 versus 2s. Ventura, the 1 from the Desert Conference, and FC Tucson, the 2 playing the 1 from the Mountain. Now, I'm not familiar now. It rained cats and dogs up by where I live on the north side last night. Give us a sense, though. If did it rain much down there? What's the pitch like tonight going into this contest, Michael?
Now the pitch looks great. Dealt with rain quite a bit this season, more so than last year here at Keno North. But the pitch has been outstanding, and the teams are on the field right now, getting loose and warming up. So it doesn't seem to be an issue despite the rain last night. Hopefully, this rain that's south of here continues to move east to west, and we stay dry tonight.
And, you mentioned this is the first appearance for the FC Tucson since they were PDL last time around, and they had a number of runs to the regional round in the last years at that level, hosted several of these events. We were talking about yesterday, seemed to, though, just get snake bit, not being able to get out of the regional final. A couple of, I think it was like 4 times they lost in the regional finals last time that they were at this level. But they continue to be at the top of the list of being able to host this event. That does clearly has not changed since the last time they were at this division of the United States soccer chain.
Yeah, no, I mean, it all goes down to the organization and how everything's ran, and the great job that John Perlman and Kyle, they do here. And, I mean, the facility is top-notch. Keno North Stadium is probably one of the better facilities in the USL, too, and that puts the organization at a great advantage. So it's a combination of the classiness of the organization and the facilities and the city of Tucson. It makes for a easy decision to be able to host events like this.
We're chatting with Michael Bruskowski. He is going to broadcast the games tonight at Keno North Stadium for the USL League 2 regional round. Michael, what's your background in soccer, and how long have you been broadcasting games?
Yeah, so, I mean, my background originally was in professional baseball for about 7 years, and I actually didn't really broadcast soccer until a couple of years ago when I got to Arizona Western. All our games at Arizona Western are either on stream or on cable television, so I wear many hats there, and one of them is calling games among the other 10 jobs that I do. So, I mean, you know, it's been a thing where I've called so many sports, you just kind of get used to it, and it comes quickly and natural. So it's just something fun I like to do on the side, and I've really enjoyed calling soccer. It's easily become one of my favorite sports to broadcast.
You're like, well, you and I have a very similar background, having started broadcasting games on the junior college level, and then moving into minor league baseball. I myself spent a number of years working my way up through the minor league realm, from single A all the way up to triple A. What have you found? How did you quickly adapt to being able to broadcast soccer? Did you watch a lot of soccer? Was it easy for you to kind of make that transition?
Yeah, I've always been a soccer fan, and I mean, I used to go to Europe about once a year before COVID and go see my favorite team over there. So I've always watched it, and so I've never really got a chance to call it. Was never anywhere that gave me an opportunity to call soccer until I came to Arizona. So yeah, I've always watched it, and so that's definitely helped.
Give me a couple keys to FC Tucson tonight against Flatirons. What they're going to need to do to win this game. We had a chance to talk to Nils Roth yesterday on the show. He's in the goal right now, obviously, with Alex Svetnoff moving on back to Louisville, but a pretty nice performance by Nils on Sunday to help get the draw and get FC Tucson into this position to host and play in this semifinal round.
Yeah, they're going to need him to be big again here tonight. This Flatirons team comes in and they've scored 16 goals in their last 3 games, outscoring opponents 16-2. So they can score in bunches. They've only had 2 games this season, actually 1 game this season, in which they've scored less than 2 goals. So they're a team that can score. FC Tucson's got to take advantage of chances. I think you've seen in the last few home games, they've had numerous opportunities, especially in the first half, that they just couldn't finish. So finding that quality touch in the final third is going to be important tonight, because they're going to need to score goals against this Flatirons team.
Absolutely. Well, again, the play starts at 5 o'clock with the first game of the evening, and that'll be Ventura County Effusion from our conference playing in that first game, and then FC Tucson will be in the second game of the night, and that gets going around 7:30. Michael, just real quick, in terms of obviously Arizona Western College, ACCAC, along with Pima College, what's been the transition at that athletic department since football went away from the junior college realm out here in Arizona?
Yeah, obviously it's been a big change. I came right at the tail end, right after football left, so I unfortunately didn't get to experience football in every junior college, which has been my background since I left baseball. I've been working in junior college athletics. Every junior college I've been at hasn't had football, but I mean, it was a big transition, especially in the outlier schools like Pima and the schools outside of Maricopa. I think it's missed, but in terms of the conference, I think it's getting stronger, and there's a change this year now where the conference is kind of split into 2. The Division 1s and the Division 2s will only play each other now. So, and I think that's going to help both sides, because when it comes to rankings and everything, they don't take into account when you play out of division. So I think it's only going to make the likes of Pima and Arizona Western stronger in that regard.
So you're breaking some news, Michael. I had not heard that. So the Division 1s and the Division 2s will no longer play each other, and that'll be for all sports?
Correct. Yep.
Wow.
So they have split into their own separate sub-conferences. So
what was behind that?
It goes back to just trying to get bids into the national tournament. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, they're going to look and see whether it's Pima, they're going to say, well, you played a lot of D1 teams. Or when it's Arizona West, they're going to say, well, you played a lot of Division II teams. So at the end of the day, that's what it came down to. And then, I think Maricopa and the schools up there have the advantage that they can kind of stay in that area and even come down here to Tucson, and all their games are relatively close. So that helps for them. And then, the outliers, it's just more about scheduling. They can have a little bit of a stronger schedule as well.
So, in terms of the scheduling, how is that going to work? I mean, are we going to see more out-of-state teams? I know I just saw the other day that College of Southern Nevada was added to the ACC, and I don't know if that maybe had something to do with their addition, might have had something to do with this new scheduling, but are we going to see more out-of-state teams coming into play, the teams in Arizona?
Yeah, and I know most of the schools, especially the Division I's, are hosting more teams out of state, and that's what the schedule kind of freed up some ability. And Community Christian out of California is also joining the Division I side of the ACC-AC. So, it's just a chance for the conference to grow, and within that, there was the opportunity to make the split because of the growth of the conference, and then Mojave adding soccer as well, which is their only sport right now. So adding those three schools kind of made the process doable, and it'll be interesting. Everyone's really excited for it. I know it's going to be kind of a different schedule. In soccer, everyone's going to play each other twice, so it's going to be different because now you can't just maybe go play a really good team, get away with a win. You got to see them again. So it'll be fun.
Outstanding. Well, Mike will have great calls tonight. You're calling both games, yes?
I am, yes.
Outstanding. And people can see those where?
You can watch them on the FC Tucson YouTube page as well as the USL2 website.
There you go. FC Tucson YouTube page, USL2 website. Doubleheader tonight at the regionals here at Keno North Stadium. Michael, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us.
Awesome, no problem.
Michael Bruskowski over at Arizona Western College. He is the SID broadcaster on tonight's regional games for the USL2 Tucson Regional, which gets going at the top of the hour. Breaking some news there in terms of the ACC AC, at least news to us. I was not aware that there's no longer going to be. We've talked about that for years here, how there's always been interplay between the Division I schools and the Division II schools. Pima has had to play Cochise and Arizona Western and Eastern Arizona and those larger schools in basketball, and that is no longer going to be the case. So I'm interested in seeing when we get back. We'll have to get with our folks over at Pima and find out how that's going to play. We'll have to get Ken Hockamy on the show and kind of see what the scheduling is going to be like now that is in play. That's huge news. Huge news. We'll get some of your thoughts on that. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. ACC moving away from divisional play. It's just going to be Division I's versus Division I's and Division Two's versus Division Two's. Right now, though, we're going to talk some more about what's happening out at Keno North Stadium. Ted Przelski is going to join us today as well. We'll get his thoughts. Longtime cover of soccer. We'll get Ted's thoughts on everything from what's happening with FC Tucson to what's happening with the United States men's national team. Ted's all over it when it comes to soccer. We'll get his thoughts across the board before we get out of here onto vacation. Right now, though, cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. And traffic sponsored by Park Place Mall. Collisions Irvington and 6th Avenue in Irvington, a collision at Broadway and Wilmot and Broadway Boulevard. Anklam and Silverbell for paving improvements, and Anklam at Silverbell is closed for paving work through the end of the month. And for your weather, a 15% chance of showers in 105 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. With over 100 online casino-style games, Chumba Casino is your go-to destination for nonstop entertainment. Play for fun and play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Escape the ordinary and indulge in a world of excitement at Park Place Mall. Discover endless possibilities with over 100 stores, restaurants, and entertainment options. Join them for the monthly Kids Club, Yappy Hour, and seasonal events. From fashion to food, it's all at Park Place Mall, where you belong.
Baseball is back. I'm Chris Mack here to help you beat the books with BetQL. All-Star Week is come and gone, and the stretch run gets going today. The Padres visiting the Guardians in Cleveland tonight. BetQL model is looking at that low total and has over 7.5 as a 5-star best bet. I'm Chris Mack. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetQL and BetMGM apps today.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
Really?
Really, really?
Really? Free.
That's our polar bear promise.
You don't need us telling you it's been hot.
Really hot.
Really, really?
You just need to know if your AC breaks down,
We'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
William just said that.
It's the Alaskan AC
With
service
Alaskan
guarantee.
AC service guarantee.
Hey, Gary was speaking.
Thanks. Like I was saying, we'll arrive
in one day or your repair is free.
Okay, let's try this. At Alaskan Air Conditioning, we promise to be at your house in 24 hours or the fixing thing won't cost you any money.
What?
What? I just said with Alaskan
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
See, now that's easy to remember.
It's a toe tapper.
Really?
Really, really from AlaskanAC.com.
All right, she's inside. Are you good?
Yeah. It's just, she's my baby girl, you know?
I do, and ceramic coating was a good choice.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Yep, I know.
Recon Auto Detailing. Enhance or restore your baby to her former glory with paint recondition, ceramic coating, paint protection, tinting, and more for full protection of your vehicle inside and out. New cars, old cars, we love them all. Recon Auto Detailing, 3829 North Oracle Road, Tucson. ReconDetail.com.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See? We didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
As part of summer's greatest hits, it's the first ever Macy's All-Star Week. Join us for an incredible lineup of live events in store every day, like fashion shows, beauty demos, and more fun for the family. Now through Tuesday, July 23rd. Plus, shop our best summer deals, like 50% off swim, sandals, and more. And exclusives just for Star Rewards members. You don't want to miss this. Go to Macys.com/events to see what's at your local store. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Yeah, Goodfellas AC.
Hi, can I get a second opinion from you guys on something?
Of course. It's what we're here for.
So, my wife's brother claimed he'd done some AC repair before.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and now there's kind of a rope and pulley situation that opens the freezer door and a fan inside turns on to cool off the house.
Huh, very creative.
Really?
No, not at all. Next time, call us first, yeah?
Yeah.
Call Goodfellas AC for free estimates and second opinions. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
This is Jim Rome with a Sports Minute, sponsored by Wrangler. It's Wrangler season out there. Open roads, endless horizons. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles. When I rolled into the studio this morning and I saw somebody in my control room that I'd never seen before, my first thought was, uh-oh. Next thing you know, the world is shutting down and half the universe wakes up to the blue death screen. I'm Jim Rome.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights.
When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. The InventHelp databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380. Again, 1-800-217-4380.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights. When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. 520-848-1290. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. You can text app to 520-848-1290. Download our Wildcats Radio 1290 app. Stay in touch with everything that is happening. You can hear all of our football previews that we have done this week over there. We've heard from Josh Baker on the offensive line and what it's meant to him to kind of be a part of this rebuilding process over the course of the last 5 years, 4 years, and now he'll go into a fifth season for the Arizona Wildcats. He has seen it all. Also, yesterday, we talked a little bit about the defensive line and some of the things that are going to be happening down there. Joe Somalo, the new defensive line coach, will give you his thoughts on the philosophy of being aggressive. That's what this defensive line wants to be for the Arizona Wildcats. It's gonna be. I'm gonna be watching that closely because we always talk about. I'm interested to hear eventually what Kelvin and Glenn have to say about it because we talk so much about gap integrity in terms of defensive line play and making sure that your gap is secure, you're not overplaying. And those types of things, and it sounds like the Wildcats are going to be maybe moving away from that mentality, wanting to play more on the other side of the ball. That's going to put a lot more pressure on your linebackers because if the defensive line is going to be more aggressive and they're not necessarily just going to be occupying space, that means that your linebackers are going to have to really be able to read and react in this defense. And the Wildcats, we know, have one guy that can do that, and that's Jacob Manu. The question is going to be, do they have 2 or 3 other guys that can do that this season? We'll begin to answer those questions coming up when we return from vacation. Practice starts on July the 30th. All right, it was not a good time in England for one Tiger Woods, who has missed the cut at the British Open. He has not made a cut at a major all season long. And I want to announce we've got some breaking news also that's coming in right now. Churchill Downs has rescinded its extended suspension of Bob Baffert, allowing the Hall of Fame trainer to resume racing his horses at the historic track. So that is big news today for the Nogales native and University of Arizona grad. Bob Baffert has been reinstated at Churchill Downs. We'll get more into that, see if we can get some more information on that for you and get more into that. But huge news for Bob Baffert, who has not raced at the Kentucky Derby in a number of years. So Tiger finishes 14 over in his 2 rounds at the Masters and had this to say afterwards.
Never really hit it close enough to make birdies and consequently made a lot of bogeys. Yeah, well, I'd like to have played more, but I just wanted to make sure that I was able to play the major championships this year. I got a lot of time off to get better, to be better physically, which is been the case all year. I've gotten better, even though my results really haven't shown it. But physically, I've gotten better, which is great. And so, just need to keep progressing like that, and then eventually start playing more competitively and start getting into kind of the competitive flow again. I've always loved playing major championships. I just wish I was more physically and sharp coming into the majors. Obviously, it tests you mentally, physically, emotionally, and I just wasn't as sharp as I needed to be, and I was hoping that I would find it somehow, but she never did. And consequently, my results and scores were pretty high.
He has now missed the cut or withdrawn in 6 of the past 7 majors, a 60 or 6 over 77 in round 2. And this was not even close. The cut line was 6 over, and he finished 14 over. But the thing that I was asking myself, J-Dub, yesterday, and I haven't had a chance to really dive into this and look at this, because you heard him say the other day, look, I'm exempt. I can play these tournaments until I'm 60 because he's won. He's won every single one of these majors. He can be that old guy. You know how they at the Masters, they had the old guys teeing off at the beginning. Jack played the Masters until he was in his 60s.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to find out at this age, how was Jack Nicklaus or some of those guys, how were they playing these tournaments? Were they this far off? And I just haven't had a chance to do a deep dive into that, but it'd be interesting to find out how far off they were at this age.
Yeah, we'd have to do some research to answer that question. But my question to you, DK, is Tiger Woods, car accidents and public humiliations aside, was the first golfer to really go crazy in the weight room.
Yeah.
And we remember that happening. Like, he didn't show up on the tour looking like that. It was about a couple, 3-4 years in. He started to really put on a ton of weight. Now, with the torque and the different, crazy angles that you get your body into playing golf for 18 holes a day professionally through the weekend, I wonder if somehow, some way, DK, the amount of tension that he's put on his body through that process may be added to his physical ailments now that he's later in life, now that he's borderline 50. I remember at the time, he was already out driving a lot of guys. People wondered because nobody had ever really been a weightlifting pro golfer. Hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
Daly was on the tour at the time, right? So, I'm curious to know whether or not maybe that had something to do with it.
Well, there's no question. I mean, the amount of torque that you put, out there on the golf course in terms of, power and swing, you got to believe that that's had some effect, especially on the back issues that he has had. What's it done to him in terms of, the knees and the legs? And obviously, you mentioned he had the car accident. They basically had to rebuild, I think, that one lower leg. And it's hard. You gotta walk. You got to be able to, navigate around loose grass and in the rough and hitting balls off uneven planes. And that's just not an easy thing to do when you're not at full strength, or your body just can't, withstand the pounding that you did when you were a young man. So I think absolutely you're correct. It definitely has had something to do with that, and we're gonna watch these other guys. We're gonna watch these guys like Bryson DeChambeau and some of these other guys who have been power weightlifters and have really gone into the weight aspect of it, and how that's going to affect them as they move forward.
I've got Jack's finishes at the Open if you want them.
Yes.
So Tiger's 48 right now. Jack was 48 in 98 because he was born in 40.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, that would be 58. So in 1988 would have been his 48th birthday. He made the cut. Next year 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 missed, made the cut. And this is borderline. This is when he's 58 years old now. He made the cut, missed the cut, and that was his final one when he was 60. So he made 5 cuts in his 5 cuts, in his 50s,
right,
at the Open.
Okay. So but it doesn't indicate like when he missed, was he way off, or we don't know.
I only have the scores in front of me. I have all of his results and his scores, his final score. Let's see. What did Tiger shoot?
He was 14 over.
What was his final number?
Let me give you the number. He got 77. He was 6 over 77, so he had to be 8 over the first round, so that would have been 79. So 156.
I mean, when Jack missed in 92, he shot 75 and 73 and missed the cut. Next year, he shot a 69, followed by a 75 and missed the cut.
Yeah.
The year after that, he shot a 72 and followed by a 73 and missed the cut. So, yeah,
so he's not missing the cut in the high 70s.
Not by much, no.
No. And again, like I said, it wasn't even close, as Tiger missed the cut by 8 shots at 14 over, in the cut line was 60. So that is the end of Tiger Woods' stay at the Open. Your leader at -7 here as we head to the weekend is Shane Lowry. Shane Lowry at -7. Justin Rose is 2 shots back. He is -5. You've got a couple other. The high American right now is Billy Horschel. Billy Horschel at -2. Daniel Brown is also at -5. And let's see some of your other top names. Scotty Scheffler is in the mix. He's -2. Tied for 4th right now. Jason Day is also at -1. Patrick Cantlay at -1. Xander Schauffele is at -1. Dustin Johnson is at +1. Brooks Koepka also at +1. So some of the top names there. Let's see who also not making the cut in this. Any big names here that jump out? Keegan Bradley from the United States is not going to make the cut. Henrik Stenson is not going to make the cut. Zach Johnson, Tommy Fleetwood, Bryson DeChambeau did not fare well. He finished 151 overall. He's not going to make the cut either. I believe Phil played, did he not? Tony Finau is not going to make the cut. I don't see Phil's name down here. I'm going pretty far down the list unless he finished. John Daly, who he played. Justin Leonard not making the cut. So there you go. Those are just a feel. Phil is actually going to make the cut, it looks like. He's +5. So Phil Nicholson makes the cut. He's currently tied for 54th.
I love, that's one of my favorite names for a course. Royal Troon. Amazing.
Yeah.
Have you ever played a links-style golf course?
I don't think that I have.
It's so weird to me visually, like it's just like not a lot of tree barriers in between the fairways.
Yeah.
Is the one big takeaway. But yeah, I mean, it looks like they have fun. There's so many weird irregularities in those links courses. Like the crazy sloped bunkers and so forth. But yeah, I mean, wind is really your biggest issue on a lot of those courses, right? They always have the option of having those big gusts come out up there in Scotland for sure.
I watch the British Open, and to me here to compare it to something in the United States. It's like watching a baseball game in the summertime at Candlestick Park back in the day.
Yeah.
When it was like really, really cold.
Yeah.
And it was a whole lot of wind.
Yeah.
What's the old saying?
John Muir, he said the coldest winter I ever spent was a summer I spent in San Francisco.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. See, I knew you'd know the answer to that one.
I lived there. Yeah, I love Muir. I love Muir Woods and Muir Beach and all that. It's good stuff up there. Great place.
All right, DK on the sports tip. We've got 1 hour to go, and then we are on vacation for a week. If you want to get in with any of your thoughts on what we've been talking about, you want to hit our question of the day today, you can do that as well. Are you that person who takes your sick days and uses them like vacation days? Head on over to our Twitter page right now. You can vote in our poll. DK on the sports tip. Cricket is here. J-Dub is here. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported at Broadway and Wilma, also Irvington and 6th Avenue in Irvington, and some slowing at that intersection. Widening work has started on Twin Peaks Road between Silver Bell and Quarry Road. 15% chance of showers today. It is 1:05 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. With over 100 online casino-style games, Chumba Casino is your go-to destination for nonstop entertainment. Play for fun and play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void or prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style. And top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
It's so hot and sticky. I can't stand this humidity. I'm melting.
So you can either check for hot flashes and duct or call Pixrock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
It's not hot flashes.
We're calling Pixrock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing right now at 520-492-0748.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Hey you, I knew I'd find you back in the same aisle. What are you looking for today? More fiber, more laxatives, more of the same ways to manage your constipation? Look, if your constipation with belly pain keeps coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. Ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LANZESS.
Hi, you know me, Scott Lehman from ScottSaysYes.com. Check out this month's Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar powered by Premier Auto Center.
Visit the Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar at wildcatsradio1290.com to find out what community events are coming up in the Tucson area. You can also find Wildcats Radio 1290 events, upcoming sporting events, and more. Get the details and get involved with our community at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Go to ScottSaysYes.com today.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire, or no warranty coverage at all. With the struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-290-1583. 800-290-1583. Again, that's 800-290-1583. Coverage, deductibles, and claims may vary. For details, go to Endurance Warranty.
Tucson, Cumulus Media Station. The one and only home of Arizona basketball. Pre- and post-game coverage, play-by-play, and live press conferences. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Final hour on this Friday. Where you headed this weekend? What you doing this weekend? How you spending your weekend? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. One of the things that will not be happening here in Southern Arizona, but will be happening in Arizona, is the WNBA All-Star Game. It is the All-Stars against the United States women's national team, the women's basketball team. So that we don't often get that type of All-Star game. I wouldn't mind necessarily getting that type of All-Star game every year. Just give me the although it'll be interesting. I don't know if they did this the last time around or not, but I would think that the Olympic team will probably win by a pretty large margin tomorrow in Phoenix. But it's going to be fun to kind of watch how those that second tier of players competes against the likes of Brittany Griner and Kalia Copper and Diana Taurasi and company.
My question to you, DK, is if you're on that select team, if you're on that the WNBA All-Star team, is your goal to win and show everybody how you should have been on that team?
Right.
Or is your goal to help prepare those women as much as you can to get ready for the Olympics, right? I mean, I'm sure you want to show out and do your thing, but they only have, we talked about this yesterday, they only have the one exhibition game after this, and it's a very short window before games start in about 12 days, something like that, 10 days. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a fine line there. I just think that this is going to be a showcase for, mostly for Americans, obviously, because that's what it's all about, but showcase for the world, for what the highest level of basketball and the women's level is all about. I do have a side question for you. How come USMNT is soccer,
right,
and USWNT is soccer?
Right.
Oh, so what do we call the men's national softball, basketball, baseball?
I think we just
every
call
other
them Team USA.
Okay.
Or USA women's basketball, USA men's basketball. Yeah, but in terms of the women's national team, and I've probably been misusing that as a categorization because that is generally used only for soccer.
I just think U.S. men's national team, U.S. women's national team is such a great moniker.
Yeah.
And so, I guess soccer probably got it first because a lot of the other countries have a very similar, naming hierarchy.
Exactly. Caitlin Clark will be here in Phoenix. In fact, she's already here. They've had some they got events going on up in Phoenix. It started last night with the naming of the Diana Taurasi practice facility at the Footprint Center for the women's basketball team for the Phoenix Mercury. So a nice honor for Diana Taurasi. A lot of folks were on hand for that last night. Caitlin Clark has really been at the center of this resurgence in women's basketball, from what she did at Iowa to what she's been able to do in her first season at the WNBA. And she had a chance earlier this week to kind of talk about what it means to her to kind of be someone who's looked at as being partly responsible for what we're seeing, the immense attention that we're seeing towards women's sports here in the United States.
I think it's much more than just women's basketball. I think you look across the board at all, women's sports, and people are really, invested in it and show up for it. And that's only going to grow. Not only women's basketball, obviously women's basketball has kind of been at the forefront of all of it. And for good reason, as it should, across the board, whether it's college women's basketball or the WNBA, like it's been really, really good. The talent level has been really good. But you look at soccer, you look at softball, you look at, whatever sport it is, and it just continues to grow. The numbers continue to grow. And for me, as somebody that's like grown up playing a bunch of different sports and supporting a bunch of different sports, like that's the coolest part it is for myself. So I try to soak it in and enjoy it. And I definitely think it's more so a movement than a moment, 100%.
I think, DK, it's tough for us because we've lived through it, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember when a certain coach named Mike Candrea took the softball team to the Olympics for the first time? That was all about women's athletics at the time, right? There was so much dialogue in the press. How about the 25-year anniversary 10 days ago of Brandi Chastain after she made the kick and took off her? That was a huge moment in women's sports. Not that moment where she made the kick, but just the win and just the amount of press. I think it's gradual steps, right? Because there's always going to be a certain element of the population that just will never support. They just have it in their heads that, there's just an element that will never support women's athletics. And anybody who's been on the fence, I mean, I think Caitlin Clark has gotten so much press, but for good damn reason. She just broke Pistol Pete Maravich's all-time college basketball scoring record, which is from 1974. I mean, a lot of people thought that, and obviously with an extra COVID year, but nobody ever thought that record would ever fall. So I think it's great overall, and I love that she deferred, and it's, she gets most of the attention, DK, but every time I've heard her, she never is, patting herself on the back and talking about how great she is. I think she's just, part of the movement, part of the cause, and trying to help in any way that she can.
Well, when you talk about just everything that's happening right now with women's sports, I mean, I think it's, and there's a lot of us out here that have been kind of following it for a long time. This is not necessarily new to us, but we understand that it is new to a lot of people. And I harken back to, I again, from the moment I got on campus as a college freshman, I was into our women's athletic team.
Who was the most popular athlete on campus at the time?
Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, I'll tell you, one of them was Paula Pyers from Tucson. She was on the women's basketball team at USC my freshman year. I think she was a senior or junior my freshman year. And then she'd come in right after the Cheryl Miller years and all of that. She was on that list. We didn't have softball there, so really for us it was women's basketball. They didn't have a soccer team at the time, so really, I mean, it was women's basketball and volleyball, and our volleyball team was terrible. I think they won one game my freshman year, but I covered them because I was on the low end of the totem pole at the campus radio station, and so we got, when they handed out sports, the freshmen got a lot of the women's sports. But I that was fine with me because my sophomore year, I was the lead broadcaster for the women's basketball games. I was cool with that. I was like, as long as I get to do some games, I don't care if it's men or women. For me, I just wanted to get in that seat and start calling some play-by-play. But definitely Paula Pyers would have been on that list. Rhonda Wyndham was another USC basketball player at the time that I was there. It was generally around basketball. We had a few volleyball players. Nancy Hillman was one of our top volleyball players at the time. But again, we were never very good at that particular time in volleyball like USC is now. And they still don't have. I mean, there's still no softball team there. Track obviously it's been a sport that's gotten better as we've gone on. I don't know that we had a lot of top female Olympians when I was in school. Though a lot of those women came after I was gone. But
if listeners don't know, the University of Southern California Trojans, which Mr. David Kelly went to school, have more medals from their alumni than any other university in the country.
Yeah, 300 plus medals for sure. But just kind of going back to this whole thing with what Caitlin Clark was saying, and you got Asia Wilson for Las Vegas, who obviously is becoming a star in her own right, having led that franchise to 2 consecutive titles in the WNBA. And she came out and said, again, what some people have said to her this season, that we're only here because of Caitlin. And she said that, I can't find the quote, but she said, that's fine that you're here because of her, but I'm not going to let you tear down what me and women before me have done to build this league to where it is right now.
I just think there's a level of ego involved in being an athlete at any level. And I think if you're a professional athlete, let's say hypothetically, DK, for 5 or more years in a league, and you're doing great, you're making good money, taking care of your family, a lot of people in the buildings, and then all of a sudden some 23-year-old shows up and everybody's pointing to her as the reason why. You have to look at it like this. New fans, you said it yourself, you and I, we've been around, long enough to have seen several movements and continue to watch the overall progress of women's sports on the national scene. But the way that a lot of people, I think, are taking this as if it's a slight against them. You have to look at it like Caitlin has ignited a whole bunch of passion in a lot of people that maybe had never watched a single women's college basketball game ever, DK, before the last 16 months, before that run they had in 2023, and then this last year in the championship game. I think it's just that simple that watching Steph Curry and that excitement of watching him, make 9 threes in a game and some of them from 30 feet away. And wow, did you see him go behind the back? That translates directly into Caitlin Clark's style of play. That's just the way she plays. It's very exciting, and there's a lot of people exciting to watch her style of play.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. I want to tell you about a giveaway we've got going on right now over on our website, wildcatsradio1290.com, because it's that time of the year. Families and friends gathering in the backyard, burgers and dogs sizzling on the grill. Maybe you've got a cookout planned for this weekend. It's the perfect time to upgrade your backyard barbecue and a chance to win $5,000 in the Hot Off the Grill giveaway. Buy the biggest, shiniest grill you can imagine, or throw a huge backyard bash and hire someone to grill for you. Maybe if you ask nicely, J-Dub will come out and show you his how he works around the grill. Visit wildcatsradio1290.com. That's what it sounds like at J-Dub's house when he gets to grilling all his fancy dishes and whatnot. I mean, Paige is never going to let you go because you probably do all the cooking, I would think.
Well, I did until the last 3 or 4 days where she's made dinner every night. So.
Oh, well, there you go. All right. Is she on point with you, or are you on point with her?
I'm teaching her to learn how to love to cook the things she loves to eat. And I think if there's like a disconnect where you're making something that you love making but you don't like eating, what's the point? If there's something that's too much of a hassle to make but you love eating, why would you learn how to make that really good? But if you love the process of it, I stir fry was one of the first things I started cooking. So yeah, she's having a good time, and she's making the things that she loves, and that's what's really important.
Cricket, I was trapped in my car for 45 minutes last night.
What happened?
Because it was raining so hard at my house. It was raining. I thought, okay, I'll sit here. I got home. It's pouring. I was like, I'll sit here for 10 minutes. It'll let up, and I can and then I can leave and go up to the condo. It just would not let up. It just rained like hard for a straight 45 minutes. And we're starting to see that a lot. We're starting to see that a lot more now, where it just seems like we get these rainstorms where it's a continual downpour for like 30 plus minutes. Mm-hmm. It's out of control.
It's been insane lately this season.
And my wife dropped me off today because we're going to the airport after the show. And I forgot to tell her that the road was closed. So we started down Roger, and I was like, you're not going to be able to get out down there. We're going to have to turn around. I totally slept on that and forgot to tell her about it.
But they got the extra crane out there, so today should be the day.
Yeah, she's like, what is going on with that crane up there? Is there something? I was like, yeah, it's kind of been like that for a week now.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Thanks, Monsoon.
So we've got soccer tonight happening here in Tucson. The games have gotten underway at 5 o'clock out at Keno North Stadium. That is happening. What else is going on this weekend, Cricket, around town?
The Ugly Shoe Dance Party tonight at O'Malley's.
Ugly Shoe?
Ugly Shoe Party. It's a dance party at O'Malley's. It starts at 9 tonight, which that made me giggle.
I don't know what that is. Like, you have to wear your ugliest pair of shoes?
Yeah.
I don't know that I have any
the
ugly
one
shoes.
Yeah, you're right.
Just the one shoe.
You're right.
And the other shoe is barefoot.
Yeah.
Why
now,
not?
one shoe could be really cool and classy, but the other one's got to be really ugly.
It's got to be really bad.
I see. So not like the same, just one of these. I get it. I get it. Yeah. Would you have anything you could wear to that? I don't know that I do.
I don't think so, but maybe someone else might have a different opinion and be like, those are ugly.
Right.
I don't know. Tomorrow night is Cool Summer Nights at Arizona Sonora Desert Museum. The Rocky Horror Picture Show also showing tomorrow night at the Loft Cinema on Speedway. And there are summer festivities this weekend at Apple Annie's in Wilcox. For more details or the event calendar, you can visit appleannies.com.
Let's do the time warp again. Put your hands on your hips. Da 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 da. That's J-Dub's
his jam.
Your sister, right? Your sister had some. What's her connection to that
sister Sydney,
again?
she's from Long Island, and she was actually invited to the 10-year, the 20-year, and the 25-year anniversary of Rocky Horror because she was one of the characters. Consistently for the longest time. So yeah, she was heavily involved.
Which character did she dress
I don't
up
remember.
as? No?
I don't remember the name of the character.
Oh, okay. All right. So what is your plans? What are your plans? What are you doing next week with your time off?
I'm just going to be at home and be very happy. I'm house sitting this weekend, and then they return on Sunday.
Oh, same place or different place?
Yes, same place.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're using the pool there? And
yeah, I've been using the pool, enjoying the AC, but it's hard to not sleep in your own bed.
That's
you know what
right,
I mean?
because you have swamp cooler.
Yeah.
So what's that like for you to be somewhere where there's AC? Do you feel the difference?
Oh, yeah. Big time. I'm like, this is so nice. Wow.
Yeah, we apparently, our AC is leaking, I found out just a few minutes ago. I was like, oh, great, we're about to leave for a week, and our AC is leaking.
Great.
But I was like, maybe it's just the excess water from the rain last night, but I hope it's nothing like crazy. Yeah. Well, have fun with the pool. Have fun with the AC, and we'll see you back here in a week or so.
So we're all going to have, 9 days off?
Something like that, yeah. 9 days off.
I'm going to forget my passwords, how to get in the building. I'll forget how to get here.
Exactly. Well, and we were just talking. It's like it seems like the storm may have driven away the coyotes. I haven't seen them all week.
Yeah, it's been a very long time since we've seen those pups.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a bunny this morning. We haven't had rabbits around here for a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen I think I've seen a few bunnies on the way out, not necessarily this far back but
here.
I've seen them on the way out.
If their legs are like 20 inches long, they're rabbits. Jackrabbits. Yeah.
And I told J-Dub, I saw the big frog. Remember, I don't know if you were here last week when I said the people in my complex said there's a huge frog that's hanging around outside. After it stopped raining enough that I could get out of the car, I saw the big frog on my way into the condo.
Was it huge, like a dinner plate?
It was about the size of this cup.
Oh my, that's a big one.
It was big.
Yeah, they're two-handers by that lead. I mean, I've seen ones as big as your head for sure. That's what this is, Cricket.
It wasn't that big.
Cricket, that's what this is. This is Monsoon Tucson Sounds with Poe and River Toads.
Yeah, that's the Poe. I should have had my window down so I could have heard him maybe.
They are noisy, man.
They're so loud.
Yeah, they're so noisy, especially certain parts around the foothills. Up by where you are, DK, you'll hear that sometimes if you're in the right spot.
I'll have to listen a little bit closer. All right, Cricket, tell us how to get home today.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together with collisions reported and clearing. Park Avenue and Ajo Way near Davis-Monthan, Golf Links and Craycroft, Oracle and Fort Lowell, Irvington and 6th Avenue, and also Broadway and Wilmot. There is a chance of showers this afternoon into this evening in 105 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
Sponsored by Lowe's. Don't miss up to 70% off select major appliances at the Lowe's Closeout event. But hurry, these deals are too good to last because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Attention Tucson. Remember, if it's game day and the Wildcats are taking the floor, you can count on 1290 to bring you all the play-by-play action, the biggest pre- and post-game show in the Pac-12. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Back to UberTube expert Eugene Snurkle and his best friend Doug.
Eugene, is it true you can't fix your car's air conditioning so you're moving to Alaska or the North Pole or something?
Sorry, Doug. I meant to tell you, but I just can't seem to crack the code on fixing my car's AC.
Sorry to interrupt, Eugene, but we all know how this needs to end with a trip to Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Hi folks, Sean Furrier here with some sizzling summer specials. Besides the chilly prices on AC repair and big tire rebates, we've also got Duramax 5-year free replacement batteries on sale this month with a $25 installation credit. That means free installation for most cars and trucks.
Seems a bit extreme.
Yes, Doug, an extremely tough battery built for Arizona, and you can be extremely confident in the Duramax 5-year free replacement guarantee. So for award-winning service, call or stop by one of our 14 area locations or make an appointment online. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Choosing the right lawyer after a car wreck is important. You need to consider the law firm's experience, results, and reputation. Lerner Rowe stands above other law firms when it comes to experience and results, helping over 150,000 people recover billions of dollars for their injuries. When it comes to reputation, we have thousands of 5-star reviews, and year after year, we have been voted best personal injury law firm in Arizona. Call us today and let us put our experience, proven results, and reputation to work for you.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Yes. Hey, I have a secret. I use Secret Whole Body Deodorant because more than just my armpits stink.
Oh, can I use it where my bra rubs under my...
Oh, yeah.
And what about down there? You know, my...
Totally. 4 out of 5 gynecologists would recommend it. So I tried it, and now I get 72 hours of freshness from my pits to my...
Ooh, I love that it's a spray.
Me too. And it comes in sticks and creams too. Go get your Secret Whole Body Deodorant.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400. Wildcats Radio 1290 is everywhere. You can now hear us on our free app from the app and Google Play Store. Streaming on WildcatsRadio1290.com, iHeartRadio and Odyssey app, and even on 1290 AM. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports, sponsored by Kohl's. This season, find everyday style at great prices at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. After the WNBA All-Star Game this weekend, the Indiana Fever's Caitlin Clark will have nearly a month off from competition as the league takes its break for the Olympics. In her team's loss to the Dallas Wings on Wednesday, Clark set the WNBA record for most assists in a game with 19. The Fever fell to 11-15 on the season despite the historic night from Clark.
Every single game matters, and you don't want to have to look back at the end of the year and be like, dang, like we left some out there that we could have easily got. So I think that's the frustration part for me, but you just use it as motivation and you know you're right there and you're really close.
Caitlin Clark will represent the WNBA All-Stars when they face Team USA on Saturday night. Even though she was not selected to the Olympic squad, she's still excelling in her first professional season, averaging 17 points and 8 assists per game. With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Maggie Gray on Westwood One.
Okay, if you're sleeping on the hot summer styles and great prices at Kohl's, you're missing out. I just shopped there and scored stylish shirts for my husband, along with some cute crochet dresses for myself. Plus, I saved 30% with my Kohl's card. But even if you don't have one, you can still save an extra 20% on some other great finds and earn Kohl's cash. So what are you waiting for? Take your summer style from hot to sizzling and get to Kohl's. Select styles, 20% off GPO, valid through July 21st. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Let's talk some more FC Tucson. The fellas are getting set for their regional semifinal tonight against Flatirons Soccer Club from Colorado, and we are joined now by Ted Prozelski, who has covered soccer here in Southern Arizona for a long time. Nobody knows more soccer than Ted. Well, maybe Dave Cosgrove, maybe John Perlman, but then after that, maybe Wolfgang Weber, maybe Kelly Pierce. After that, though, it's you, Ted.
Yeah, it seems every time if we gave you enough time, I'd end up like 90th on the list.
So, Ted, we're back in the postseason. It was a place where FC Tucson routinely was during their old iteration of play in the USL League Two, which was the premier development league at the time. Though, how do you? I mean, so you've seen all these teams over the years. How does this team compare to maybe those teams that they had back in the mid last decade that routinely got to this point in the season?
Well, I think there's two things that I'd like to note. Is that one is that the PDL has gotten, the USL League Two now. It's gotten a lot better. Most of the teams we're playing have a more professional environment that they're playing in. I worked for the Tucson Amigos, who some of your listeners may remember, our PDL team back in the 90s. And as good as the Amigos were, there's no way they would even qualify to be in USL League Two now. It's a lot more professional environment. So the teams have gotten better. And part of that is because of teams like FC Tucson that have really, kind of set where the flag goes, and teams are doing that. The other thing that's interesting this year is in the past, there's been a lot of movement of players throughout the season where, there'd be the 11 guys that you saw at the beginning of the season probably wouldn't be playing near the end of the season because of them going back to school and so on and so forth. There hasn't been a lot of that this season. We've had people that have been injured that, are not available because of that. But you haven't had a lot of folks who are leaving to go to school. I think the one really big one that I'm sure you've noticed is Alex Svetnov,
right,
who was the goalkeeper. He's back at Louisville, and the other night Nils Roth took his place, and didn't seem to be any loss in that position. So those are the two things that I've remarked on.
Chatting with Ted Brzelski from the Tucson Sentinel, longtime soccer man here in southern Arizona. So you mentioned, and that was one of the things we talked with Nils Roth yesterday on the show, and you mentioned Alex Svetnov, who had gotten the majority of the starts, fine goalkeeper out of Louisville. How are they different? Is there major differences between Alex and Nils?
Not that I have observed. I think there's a little bit with on-field leadership, and I think that was more because of comfort. As a starter, someone who had been, between the pipes every game. So Nils will grow into that very quickly because, frankly, he's been with the team for a while. He played last season, if you remember, and I think that will come, and it'll come quickly. Other than that, I didn't see, there's a lot. Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of difference in style.
Is the roster makeup, I haven't looked at it real close, Ted, but is the roster makeup still very similar to what it was back in the old PDLs in terms of, obviously you have a large mix of young men who are currently playing at the soccer level, maybe some that are just recently graduated from the soccer level, but then you also had, some professionals, some guys that have been around outside of, out of the college realm for a number of years. I can remember going all the way back to, O'Dane Sinclair and guys like that who maybe had a little bit more experience and were a few more years out of college than maybe the rest of the team. Is it largely the same, the makeup of players in that respect now?
Yeah, it's mostly college. I mean, it's almost entirely college players. I think I'm trying to remember who it would even be. There was one, I think, that I noticed that was a ex-professional that had played overseas. But for the most part, these are college players. And I think, and like you said, in a way that wasn't there, say 7 or 8 years ago, where you had people that had played professionally and were, going for, I was about to say one last paycheck, but they're not getting paid for playing. But this is almost entirely college players. And what's nice about that too is you get a lot of you do get that pleasure of when you watch an MLS game of seeing people who used to play for FC Tucson running around out there.
What do you like, Sebastian Pineda? What do you like about his style? I mean, again, you and I both go back to having seen him play as a player here in the old PDL, and now he's the manager. What do you like about the style that he has out there with this team?
I think, as a journalist that interviews him, I like his honesty about how things are going. I'm not getting sort of that, you've interviewed coaches too, and no matter what happens, you're going to get a lot of rah-rah after the game.
Yeah.
I don't get that from him. I mean, if there's a win, but something was not quite right, he'll address it after the game with you as a reporter, which means he's honest with the players too. And I think, he's able to do that because he was a player fairly recently, and I think that gives him some cred that maybe an older coach might not have in that, or a coach that didn't play at that level might not have.
Chatting with Ted Przowski from the Tucson Sentinel. Let's touch on another player, Ted, Ilian Aguilar. How's he been able to kind of be a difference maker at the offensive end for a guy that's listed as a defender?
Yeah, well, as you, it's a strange game these days where if you're an outside back, you're expected, depending on the formation you're using, and it's the formation that FC Tucson plays in, where outside backs are expected to be part of the attack. And so that's something that he's been really good at. He's also, created chances, and not necessarily in a way that will end up being listed as an assist either. I mean, he's been able to bring the ball up and get it into the box so that the midfielders and forwards can do their thing. And the other thing that I've noticed watching from up top is how often he's a big part of stretching defenses. That they know, because they've seen the numbers, and they, all the games are recorded so they can watch them, and they always are keeping people at least attentive to him, and it creates spaces for other players as well. So he's been a big part of the offense, even beyond the goals that he scored.
All right, Ted, who are we going to see on the pitch for the United States men's team at the Olympics? It's not going to be a lot of the guys that were playing in Copa America, I would imagine. This is going to be a much younger unit maybe than a normal national team.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of that already is baked in. Olympic on the men's side. Now, on the women's side, it's regarded as a very important tournament.
Right.
And so you can actually have almost the same squad. On the men's side, they limit it to under 23 players. So you get a lot of younger players. There's 3 older players that you can have on the squad. And I think Walker Zimmerman's one of those. And it's the interesting dynamic is with those over 23 players that you get in there is that those guys basically have to start, because why would you waste those roster slots, right? In the past, I know they've tried to use those to be, okay, well, this guy, we're going to bring him in to provide leadership. We might not play him much and so on and so forth, but they're going to need to play those. I think the interesting part is going to be watching how the coaching situation is going to work, and because I would imagine that, these players also want to show off for whoever's coaching the team. And it's a very fluid situation right now, with the leadership of that team. So, I haven't been paying as much attention to that team as I should, frankly, but it's and that's part of the thing too, is that it's a weird dynamic because of that under 23 thing, is that it's not regarded by men's fans as a full-blown squad in a full-blown tournament. That also means, by the way, that there are teams, particularly the European teams, that won't release players. So that really limits what they can do, because they're not regarding it. They're regarding it as a youth tournament, right? So if you this might be a chance for American-based players to shine as well.
Ted, real quick, as somebody that's watched a lot of soccer, what was your take on? My take on the Copa America was that the United States can't play this game at a high level, and we can't manage an event in this game at a high level. What was just your kind of thought on the madness that took place in Miami last week?
Well, to be fair, on the organization thing, a lot of that organization was being handled by CONMEBOL. And there were corners that were cut. Those decisions were made by CONMEBOL, and so that was a big problem. And as far as the U.S. competing, I mean, this is, I think that we've actually got the players to, get to that next round. I think the trouble is that there's, for so long, success was judged as we made it to the knockout stages. and now, I think that may have led to an attitude of, we're doing all right. I'm hoping that whoever they bring in, and I've been hearing all kinds of names, and a lot of them aren't really worth addressing because they're not going to happen. But, I mean, if you want my personal pick, Wilfred Nancy, but that's just me. But, I think we need, a new coaching staff that actually has a different attitude about it. I mean, of course, saying we're going to win this whole darn thing is silly, but, making it deeper into the tournament, I think, is something that we're capable of doing, and we need to, be running the team that's what success is.
Ted, enjoy the weekend, the games tonight, and hopefully we get another regional final for the FC Tucson Boys in Black.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Ted Przelski, longtime soccer aficionado here in southern Arizona with the Tucson Sentinel. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. Collisions that are reported at Park and Ahaway and Park Avenue, Golf Links and Craycroft, Oracle and Fort Lowell, Irvington and 6th Avenue, and also Broadway and Wilmot. And for our weather, it's a chance of showers this afternoon into this evening and 105 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by KFC. The new taste of KFC deals are meals starting at just $4.99. Grab a hot, juicy drum and thigh, a buttery biscuit, and creamy mashed potatoes with gravy. Only at KFC. It's finger licking good. Prices and participation vary. Tax, tip, and fees extra.
Hi, you know me, Scott Lehman from ScottSaysYes.com. Check out this month's Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar powered by Premier Auto Center.
Visit the Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar at wildcatsradio1290.com to find out what community events are coming up in the Tucson area. You can also find Wildcats Radio 1290 events, upcoming sporting events, and more. Get the details and get involved with our community at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Go to ScottSaysYes.com today.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Is Charlie Woods the most anticipated, follow in the footsteps child of an athletic Hall of Famer we've ever had? Bronny James, as good as he may be, still has to compete within the parameters of a team sport. Golf is individual. Dale Earnhardt Jr. came along just at the beginning of the social media era.
I don't know that there's anybody else.
Wildcats Radio 1290. Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400.
There are many reasons you might need Dorado Rock and Materials. A few bare spots in the yard. The driveway needs filling in. Or it could be that the yard needs a whole makeover. Whatever the reason, if your yard has the summertime blues, Dorado Rock and Materials has everything from sand to boulders and every rock and pebble in between. If you need help spreading it, we have options for that too. Call 400-4233. Dorado Rock and Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/JOY.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Diane from Michigan, a disabled senior citizen trying to get by. Henry from Florida, a veteran fighting to make ends meet. Elena from Arizona, a mother struggling to feed her daughter. Hi, I'm Connie Britton, and I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year, like Diane, Henry, and Elena. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
This is Zach Gelb with the Sports Minute, sponsored by Napa Silent Guard Brakes. This is what former NFL MVP Rich Gannon told me about Davante Adams' future.
I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think he wants to go anywhere. I think it'd be crazy to follow his buddy, who's going to be 41 this year, to New York. We don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to play 10 games, 12 games, 17 games.
Even with that being said, as long as Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy in 2024, I think Davante forces his way to the Jets next season. I'm Zach Gelb.
Looking for a way to elevate your engine's performance? Start with Napa Full Synthetic Engine Oil. It provides faster oil flow for hot and cold temperature protection in the harshest driving conditions. Regular use can help your engine run cleaner and longer by defending against sludge and buildup, improving overall engine performance and fuel efficiency while increasing the time between oil changes. Make the switch without slowing down. Feed your ride Napa Full Synthetic Engine Oil. Available now at Napa locations nationwide.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. Final segment of the show before vacation. When we come back, it's going to be football season with the opening of fall camp for your Arizona Wildcats. Want to send a shout out, a couple of shout outs. Shout out Mark Carrion the major leaguer from South Point Catholic High School. Happy birthday to Mark Carrion. He is 61 years old today. I've never met Mark Carrion. He is a member of the Pima County Sports Hall of Fame. He was a captain over at South Point Catholic and, of course, played a number of years in the big leagues for the drafted by the Mets, played with the Mets from 87 to 96, also was with the Indians, the Giants, and the Tigers. 1995, hit 17 home runs for the Giants. So Mark Carrion, 61 years old today. Happy birthday to Mark Carrion. Also want to shout out the Tucson Elite Track Club. They went to the District 10 Junior Olympic Regionals this last weekend, and showed out, qualifying a number of athletes for the Junior Olympics, which I believe is coming up next week in Sacramento. Possibly, I'll have to check on the actual side of that. But Camry Strombert, age 7, qualified in 3 events. Jerai Howe, 11 in the high jump. Allison Simmons, 11 in the 1,500 meters. 13 and 14-year-olds, Pepper Simmers and Sophia Simmons. Pepper in the shot put, Sophia in the 800 meters. 15, 16-year-old, a bunch of young men and women qualified there. Jada Payne in the 100 and the 200 meters. Karsten Lewis in the 100 hurdles, the 400 hurdles, and the 4x4. Cristiano Morales in the 200 and 400 meters. Aaliyah Akanbil. Sorry if I mispronounced that. In the 200 and 400 meters. Samantha Archuleta in the 400 hurdles. Safia Stevens in the 800 meters. Milani Pedraza in the 1,500 meters. Getting into the distances now. Jacob DiFilippo and Rory Divijak in the 3,000 meters. Ryan Odom in the triple jump. Finished 3rd overall. That was in the 15 to 16 age bracket. And then a number of athletes in the 17 to 18. Taylor Tatum, a personal best. She qualified in the 200, 400, and 4x4. Donovan Davidson in the 400 meters in the 4x4. Noah Macias in the 800. Alana Alva in the 800. Jalea Abalos in the javelin. Desi Baca had a personal best in the long jump, as did Malachi Wright in the long jump. Molly Walters, a personal best in the triple jump, and Ali Simmers qualified in the 4x100 meter relay. Congratulations to all of those athletes from Fred Harvey's Tucson Elite Track Club at the Region 10s. They are now on to the Junior Olympics, which is coming up at the end of this month. I believe it's next week. So we'll get you some updates on how all of those youngsters did here in the very near future.
Yeah, I think the one in College Station.
Yes, I'm sorry. It's in College Station.
Yeah,
correct.
It starts the 22nd to 28th.
All right, so that'll be next Tuesday? Tuesday is the 22nd?
That is correct. Monday is the 22nd.
Monday is the 22nd. So good luck to all of those. Let's get you your Desert Diamond Casino replay for today.
And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
The SEC is having their media day. I can't hear myself all of a sudden because I think I turned my volume down. The SEC is having their media days this week, and their commissioner, Greg Sankey, spoke on XM SEC radio. And one of the things he talked about is the elephant in the room, that there is no easy fix for what is happening in college athletics right now.
Two of the most powerful words right now are then what? So there's all these ideas. We'll bring in private equity. Okay, well then what? I think the last thing we need is a dump of money in this deal without a change in the structure. Let's create a super league, and let's just make it football. Well, then what? There's a whole lot of questions. People would say, let's just unionize. You just look at the NFLPA report cards that came out a couple of weeks ago that somebody shared with me, and you've got teams with Fs.
Yep.
I thought we were supposed to solve all those problems that way. I'd argue our young people, in this league at least, have better experiences Probably don't get A's, but we're C's and C pluses and B's and A's on a lot of these support things. And that's part of the reconciliation that's happening.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, I want to live my life like that. Well, then what? Says Greg Sankey, in terms of how to fix college athletics. If you do this, well, then what? Then what are you going to do? I'm shocked by what he said, though, about in terms of the athlete experience and some of these grades. I mean, like C+, is that acceptable in terms of what we're doing for our student athletes? I don't think that it is. So clearly, across the board, everybody's got to be better for what we're offering these kids and the services that we're allotting to these youngsters that we're going out and watching perform for us every weekend here on campuses all across the country. We've got to continue to be better. If there's going to be more money, we have to make sure that money is, again, going to the betterment of the student-athlete experience, whether that's money to support them in support services or whereas we're going to shortly find out whether that's money to go directly to them for their own use and greater good. So there is no quick fix. He's absolutely got that right. But I think I'm going to start utilizing that into my vocabulary. Well, then what?
Well, I mean, it's less restructuring is more just completely building from the ground up, right? I mean, the entire concept of amateurism kind of goes out the window with employees. So, I mean, my question, DK, is the C+ student athlete experience okay if the $2 million NIL checks are coming regularly?
I don't think that is. No. You still. It's like the Jacksonville Jaguars are making all this money, but they go into their locker room and there's rats running around.
Well, that's my point exactly. Is that like the excuse being our student athletes are taken very well care of because look at the car they're driving. Look at the, porterhouse that they're eating every night for dinner. And then you look at the locker rooms, you look at the fan experience or whatever else, cutting corners because of that. What I'm saying is don't point towards large sums of money going directly to student athletes as a reason why X number of other things are being taken care of.
All right, another shout out real quick. We've been following the Arizona State Little League Baseball Tournament. Both Rincon and Canyon View are kicking butt. Rincon won their first game over Arcadia 16-5. Then they beat Flagstaff 12-0. Canyon View knocked off East Mesa 6-5. Then they beat Chandler National 10-9. So it's been a little bit tighter for Canyon View, but a pair of one-run wins. So Canyon View is going to play Rincon tomorrow at 8 a.m. down at Stone Complex in Sierra Vista for a right to advance to the semifinals. Gotta love that. Nogales right now is on the loser side of the bracket, so they've got some work to do to get back in it. But Rincon and Canyon View playing well, both 2-0 at the Little League Baseball Tournament. That'll wrap up next week. We'll make sure we got all of the results for that. Real quick, J-Dub, what are you doing with your week off?
Week off. I'll be here. I'll be doing some stuff here production-wise, but just calm before the storm, DK. I mean, when we say we got a week off for the last time, it's because the next week off will be in late May, I think. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to
we got 2 bye weeks. We might try to sneak in some days off there.
Really looking forward to the year. So I'll just probably just, kick back, do some things around the house, maybe go out to, get my ass to the zoo one of these days. I got tickets, so I think we might go there tomorrow night, but mostly just getting ready for this great football season we got coming up, DK.
All right, thanks to Michael Broskowski and Ted Przelski on our soccer talk today. For Cricket and JW Madden, my name is David Kelly. That's our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the week off. We'll talk to you Monday, July the 29th at 3 o'clock right here. DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported at Shannon and Ina and Shannon, Park Avenue and Ajo Way, and also Oracle and Fort Lowell. And for your weather, a flood advisory in effect until 7 tonight, and it is 103 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on anyone else. So if you drive safely, you could save money. Good to know. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
Here at O'Reilly Chevrolet, we want to thank you, Tucson, for helping us celebrate 100 years of serving our community. And we want to thank the Tucson Fire Department for helping us put out the cape.
O'Reilly